Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death. How are you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing well. It's been a while. A lot has changed.
Mm-hmm.
In typical fashion, I'm in a new house every episode.
A little
A
bit.
new family.
New children, new spouse, new city, new job. Maybe one of those things.
One or more.
Mm-hmm.
New mug. Looking
Oh,
good.
this is old.
Looking teal. That's
Thank
old.
you. Yeah, it's real old.
That is same robe, same mug. That's about all I got for consistency.
All right. Well, you are going to be running our game today, and I don't know anything about it.
Shit, neither do I. Just kidding. I've got some ideas. We'll see what happens. I've got some doodles. I lost my D&D notebook in the move, so
nice.
I scrawled it on some artisanal packing paper, and it actually looks pretty legit. Looks like I meant to do it that way.
Excellent. I'll need a character. What am I
so
playing?
we'll talk. Are we gonna jump right into that? Do we need to shoot any shit? Give any updates? What do we?
Well,
produce me, Neal.
You're the DM. All right. Okay.
No, we're fine. We can jump right into.
Well, why don't you? Do you want to share with the blue thing that's on you? The light blue thing, the baby blue thing.
Oh, baby rune.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He's sleeping. There's a bald head. He has my hairline.
Yes.
It's a baby. Mm-hmm. His baby. Mm-hmm. Dicing with dads.
I'll have to steal a child to make that happen.
You're a dog dad.
I really don't like that term.
Make every parent cringe with by pretending like it's remotely the same thing.
People around here say that shit all the time. They're like, "Oh, is your daddy?" I hate the dogs and cats as babies and people as parents for them. It drives me up a wall. I would never ever call myself that. Just so you know, I'm not one of those people, Ryan.
Chat will call you dog daddy from now on.
Please don't. Oh, yeah.
I'm chest feeding is the term. I'm actually not. He's sleeping.
He's like we call it a platypus. The milk just runs down the hairs. Well,
cool.
Set the scene.
Let's slap together a quick character and then we'll set the scene. I've got a dungeon crawly situation, I guess, for us. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it's interesting enough. Maybe we'll power through it in an hour and be bored and just have a shitty podcast, or maybe not. We're gonna try some I don't know, 2-point Ryan, 2E light. So we're just gonna slap together a character in probably 10 minutes or less. I think we're basically just gonna roll stats and start from there.
Awesome.
I probably shared a doc with you that outlines some of my thinking on these rules, but it's probably unedited and incomprehensible. But so we'll basically be starting with a 0th level character.
Where's the document?
Basically a stat block. It is not important, but okay. I will look it up. I'm also open to more than one character. I don't know what the difficulty level of this dungeon mission, whatever, is gonna be. I don't know whether you want to roll in there with a couple of dudes.
Yeah.
Or if you want to let it. Yeah. You want a couple of dudes.
I do want to roll in there with a couple of dudes. How many duders should I get? 2, 3, 4?
I don't really care. I can spawn more rats to eat them if there's too many dudes. So however many dudes you want to handle, however many you think would be interesting. I don't know if you how much talking to yourself you want to do.
I want to do very little talking to myself, but I will do it for the lulz.
Okay.
I can manage 3 guys, and I think that'll be fun. I'll do like 2 warriors and a mage, unless you've got a special class in mind for my stuff.
None of them. I'm not planning on any of them having classes. They will have stats, and that's it. And if you survive this dungeon, we can upgrade them and give them classes. I'm trying to think how a 0th level mage would function.
Forget the mage then, if it's
like,
complicated.
We can spitball something. I mean, the idea here is this is like a pre character.
Okay.
So like a 0th level, I mean, I think you could make a character that becomes a mage. You would just be like statted accordingly. You would probably have relevant backstory to give you like magey secondary skills.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could come up with a way to give you like a shitty cantrip or something. Or like I don't know. I clearly haven't thought this through.
Okay, well then why don't we switch it from a mage or like a traditional wizard to more of like a sorcerer who is empowered by magic within. And that way, instead of using like cantrip as the spell, which kind of sucks, it can be like a cantrip at will ability. And that's the only magical ability. And that way it's sort of, a sorcerer who can channel small bouts of really shitty magic that has no combat effectiveness.
I mean, you can get creative. I am open to considering this. I reserve the right to tell you that that's stupid and have your mage suck, but
that's fine.
Make a torchbearer. That'll be fine. All right, so stats. I think default would be like 3d6 down the line and see who survives and what will be left of them.
Awesome.
But if you'd rather, we can get fancy or something. Do I need to like make you characters and assign them?
Nope. I'll just write them down on a piece of paper.
Okay.
Like the olden days.
We will need tokens.
Okay.
But
I will need tokens then.
But do you not want a character associated with those tokens? Or
it doesn't really matter.
I don't know how Roll20 works. I resubscribed to premium yesterday so that I could
well,
have
all
lighting.
of the fancy token stuff is like a simplicity method to streamline things. But you and I are such old hats at this that we don't need to assign tokens to characters, but we will need a token just for like placement. Yes. But otherwise we can do it, like the old school pen and paper RPG days where there's just paper let's see what happens. Do you want to roll in chat?
Oh yeah, real dice.
I got my dice already warmed up.
So I think let's do 3 times. So 3 dudes.
Okay.
3d6 down the line, and pick the wizardiest one to be your rat meat, and the other 2 to be, I don't know, stick dudes.
All right. Well, here is my first set of stats. 3d6 down the line, and those are good.
Nice. So
God!
I only see. Is the first one or is the first one the last one? Wait,
the first one. Ignore the 14 at the end.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is 14 the first one, or is 14 the?
The 14 at the end, I think, is just pulling from the first one. I only rolled 6 stats. I didn't roll a perception
14 is
stat.
Strength or 10 is strength?
14 is strength.
Okay. So this looks like a fighting man. I see 14 strength, 15 con.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Cool.
And the second one is going to be strength X con int whiz charisma.
So there's your wisdom.
Oh my god, these are great stats for 3d6s.
Yeah.
And last character, wow, 3 con but 16 charisma.
So I don't know how much you remember about. Well, I don't know how much you remember about these rules, but in lieu of HP, we will be using con for your survivalness. So this character has a 3 effective HP.
Love it. Okay.
And 16 charisma. Got it.
Yeah, that one is clearly the survivor who's going to tell the tale.
The leader. Oh yeah, there you go. The survivor who's going to tell the tale. I love it.
Yeah.
What did I call this page? I'll go to my drive and poke around. It's probably, we don't chat that often on Discord.
No.
It's probably like right there. By the way, let me know how my internet is. I have actually pretty sweet fiber internet at my new house, but I am on Wi-Fi on the other side of the building. So,
Well, I haven't noticed any
okay.
problems
Keep me
or
posted. There's nothing I can do about it now, but I'm trying to gauge whether I need to like run Ethernet or like set up a web or whatever you call it, a nodal neural net, whether I need to upload my consciousness to Elon Musk's personal hard drive.
Is this the same laptop that's been running all of your games in the past?
I'm on a Surface Pro. Probably not. No.
Okay.
But it's amazing what you can do these days with a little, I don't know, half-pound slab of silicon and aluminum.
Seriously, we got Lauren a Chromebook for her office computer because it was light and had a great battery life, and it is impressive how minimal those can be and still what they can manage.
Yeah. So there is nothing really useful here.
Awesome.
Okay, we can use these. What if we try these source? Let's see. Also 1 or 2.
AC.
If you're level 0, you have 1 spell point. So every time you cast a spell, according to these rules at level 0, you would suffer damage. You would take damage. Normally, you're like a level, and so there's a chance that you take damage from casting a spell. And the more powerful you are, the bigger your spell die is. So basically, every time you cast a spell, you would take 1 point of damage, or more flavorful effects, which would be like a wild surge or something like that. That seems fair. Or if you want to get like flavorful with like rituals or like other things, we can do that for magic system.
Which character is it that is doing the damage for HP? I'm scrolling.
Basically, none of these are most of these are not options that will be available to 0th level characters. Basically, just the first 3. Like,
okay,
your HP equals your Constitution score. Your AC is your Dexterity. That's about it. There may be some like combat options we could talk about, like these attack types, if it comes up, but I don't think we really care that much.
The attack you're talking about the Berserker attack types?
No, way at the bottoms, like
okay, way at the bottom. Here we go. Hack, slash, stab, bash, pierce, block, parry, counter. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think anything in the stock is really necessary. I mean, so the idea here is you basically got everything you need for a 0th level character just with the stats.
Okay.
Skills and stuff would probably just be based on backstory. Like, we don't need to deal with proficiencies, but if you want to give these guys names, and like, I think we would basically just use stat checks for everything, but like give some narrative reason why Jim Bob knows how to swim and why little Jimmy knows herbalism,
right?
Or whatever.
Right. And we can just come up with those on the fly, or you want me to prepare skills right now?
Let's do a little of both. I think because we're jumping right in, I'm hoping we'll do some like flashbacks and I don't know, non-linear narrative stuff. Like if it becomes necessary to explain something, or if you feel like being, I don't know, making up a spell on the fly, or like, oh shit, someone needs to disarm this lock, can like inject some backstory why one of them should get a chance to make that check. We'll do that. I think at the very least, we probably want names and stuff, but maybe not even. Just get yourself organized so we've got characters. Do you want me to give tokens?
Yeah, can you grab tokens while I do the character stuff? My
Yeah.
spell.
Are they? Do you
My,
care what they look like?
I will want 2 warrior-ish looking dudes and 1 torch-bearing mage looking dude. That's about it. So pretty easy. My mage dude is named Enrico.
Okay.
He is Enrico.
Are these all ladies, gentlemen?
I've only got 1 so far.
Okay.
And they can bend to whatever tokens that you can find. But Enrico is sort of a tallish. Is he that tall?
Okay, let's
He might not
see.
be
How do
tall.
I character? Let's add a character. Name Enrico. I don't
Yeah,
know
he's
how
kind
you
of like
want
a
to spell
balding
that.
dude. Enrico.
Can be edited, controlled by. Is Koibu a DM?
That's me.
Or is that?
Yeah.
Do you have DM rights with Koibu?
I do
Can
not.
you see this map? Or
No,
you...
I cannot see
Okay.
anything. I am plunged into darkness.
Can be edited and controlled by Koibu. Let's save. Let's dynamic. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's give this guy vision and emits. What's the range on a torch typically?
15 feet, I think.
15.
Got it right here, though.
Probably less than I wanted. I was like really fussing with what you call it, with like dungeon sizing. It's surprisingly difficult to be like, is this place too big? I first set it up and I was like, holy shit, even with 60-foot vision, you can't even see across this room. Right? Like I want you to be able to walk in the room and see what's on the other side. And
no, a torch has 15 feet radius of light. A lantern has 30 feet of light. So if you want to give me more light, you can give me a lantern.
Do you want a lantern?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so that's 30 feet of bright light. Any dim light?
Or no, 2e just has light, period.
Okay, 15. Your level 0 wizard spell is called Lantern.
Nice. Okay.
Why is this lighting not working? Dynamic. Okay, vision on. Bright. Ooh, light colors. Do you ever do light colors? Oh, is that weird? Okay, can you see over here?
Can you shift click drag me to wherever it is that you're?
I'm pinging.
Zoom way.
It's on the far, like left middle of the screen.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I see stuff all of a sudden.
Like too much stuff? You are a GM, aren't you?
No, I'm not a GM. I don't think so.
Oh, but you might have. Let me delete Qualnir.
Yeah, I had Qualnir that I could see from.
Okay.
Now I can't see anything. That was the only thing that gave me light.
Okay.
Thing that made light in the dark. The only source of hope I had.
Okay, there is. Let's see. Details represents character. There we go. Enrico. Save settings.
Cool.
How's that?
That is great.
Is that an Enrico?
Yeah, I just want to change some shit up here because I want to make this more simple.
Okay.
Set up for.
Is this work? Do you have music playing, or should I play some music?
I will manage music. I don't.
Will you? How do you know the mood that I'm trying to set here? I mean, I can play music through Roll20, but
if you've got the chops to handle a child and DMing and playing music, then do it.
As soon as he wakes up, I will be dumping him off with the women folk.
Okay. All right. Let me just adjust where I'm pulling these sources from.
We're good?
We are good.
Okay. Do you want... Okay, next up is a dude?
Next up is the first fighter, whose name is Vire. Vire.
Okay.
That is my healthy fighter. And then the leader of the party is going to be named Ignatius.
Okay. Any of these guys have cool mustaches?
Ignatius absolutely has a cool mustache.
Okay. There may be another Ignatius in this dungeon somewhere, but... Okay, well, he's got 16 charisma. He can have a red coat.
Nice.
Right,
I don't
how
have
do these
control
dudes
of
look?
these.
I know.
Dudes
I haven't assigned them yet. Or they fine? Yeah.
Oh yeah, these are great.
Shout out to Matt.
Yeah,
Matt
they
Berger.
look like Lich Brush tokens.
Okay. I am adding a character. What did you say their names were? There was a
Vire and Ignatius.
Okay, I think you can change these names once I make them.
Yeah.
And then edit can be edited and controlled by Koibu.
That's me.
Vire is which one of these guys?
The non-mustached one.
And you can give these guys stats. Their HP will be equal to their constitution.
Right. Vire has 15/15 with 10 AC.
Okay, and there's no way these guys all fit onto this boat, is there?
5-foot squares is what you occupy when you're in combat, but like if you're trying to cram in a boat, you can fit 3 people in 5 feet. Makes sense to me.
There, that looks like a more realistic rowboat.
Yeah. I don't know why Enrico doesn't get a health bar, but he's got HP.
I see health bars for all of them, but
Oh, I don't see one for Enrico.
they might just be overlapping or something.
I don't know. It's fine. So Ignatius, the noble boy with the...
Chat can't see the map. Not that there's anything interesting there yet, but we can flip back and forth either way. Well, there's your characters. There's their beautiful rowboat. I guess we need to explain.
Oh yeah, it's a great rowboat now. Oh, it's fantastic. So Ignatius is a fancy lord boy. I'm not sure why we're in this dungeon, but he's ultimately the reason that we're here. He's on some sort of like, probably self-appointed journey to try and make his father proud.
Okay.
He's got reading, writing, heraldry, horseback riding, and some useless skill that only a noble would have, like some sort of like economics or farm management skill, some sort of like bureaucracy skill. Vire is his bodyguard, who is going to have to do all the heavy lifting, and he grew up in the same area as Ignatius, is years older than Ignatius, and is appointed to protect this child no matter what his folly. Vire has...
Are you ripping off backstories from Save or Die?
No. no, but his fancy noble boy and his bodyguard is a pretty common backstory, I suppose.
Sure it is, Neal.
Yeah. The bodyguard isn't even a leveled fighter. He's just like, the guy in town who's supposed to keep Ignatius out of trouble. And so he's got some like handworking skills. Maybe he works, he's like a stonemason who probably can swim because he grew up in the village, and he's pretty strong and he's pretty healthy, and I think that's his like primary form of recreation is swimming out in the old quarry that got flooded. Like when it rains, the quarry fills up with water, and then over the summer it like slowly drains, and so they quarry the stone in the winter, they build things in the summer. He plays in they quarry in the summer, they build in the winter, and he swims in the winter in the quarry. So he's got stonemasonry, swimming, and probably no rope use, probably nothing like that. Probably no weapon skills, maybe a hammer at best, maybe. But probably not used for like war hammering. And I
And
think he's illiterate. Yeah. And our last guy, Enrico, is actually smart. He's got reading, he's got writing, he's got history. He's the reason that we're actually here. Enrico has convinced Ignatius to come do this thing because it'll be useful. Enrico's just using Ignatius the whole time. Ignatius thinks he's on some great quest, but really he's just doing Enrico's bitch work, and Vire is the one who's actually having to do all the heavy lifting at the end of the day. So poor Vire. Reading, writing, history, and something, maybe not arcanology. Arcanology is just like the study of ancient mages, so maybe he's been reading up or learning whatever he can about the sorcerers of the past. So history with like a specialization in magic. And maybe paper making. He's a sorcerer. He doesn't need to make paper. Maybe herbalism then. All right. There's some skills. There's some characters. There's some stats. I'm ready.
cool. Creature is stirring, so we'll take a break in a few minutes. Maybe we'll give a tidbit before we go. So the three of you have just arrived on a galley from Sinteron, bound for Solstice. And who was the mage again?
Enrico.
Enrico. So Enrico, maybe we can, if we feel like doing flashbacks later, we can see more on the scenes. But Enrico has a parcel to deliver. So he will be our quest giver. He's gonna have the first mate or something pull you all aside, but it will flash back in a second. So you have a parcel to deliver here. You slipped out of this rowboat from the main galley to dodge customs and the main dock, and you've rowed yourself here. The instructions you've been given are to make your way through the sandstone caves, at the back of which you will find a staircase. And I probably should have just done this after a break. But you're yeah.
Okay.
Edit out that whole 30-second. Yeah. And we will,
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death.
hello.
So
We are baby free. And back to the gaming. So, as we were saying, our three would-be adventurers have recently arrived on a shipping galley from Sinteron, bound for Solstice. The sorcerer of the crew, is that Enrico?
That's Enrico.
Enrico has brought this quest to Ignatius. Enrico has a parcel that is to be delivered to an, as of now, unknown source, who you will meet at the back of these sandstone caverns, where, if your instructions are to be believed, there is a staircase and a stone door with an eye carved in it. There you are to meet your I don't know, your benefactor, deliver said parcel. And yeah, you have rowed this boat under cover of night avoiding the docks and the usual customs service. It is warm, wet, rain is falling, and
Are we outside and these are
let
the
us pick up.
entrances in, or are we already in?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. We can pick up wherever you'd like, but we are pulling this rowboat onto a sort of rocky shore here at sea
Mhm.
level. The three of you have rowed this boat. I don't know if you want to flash back any to the quest giving, deal making,
Absolutely.
or okay.
Yeah. So the quest giving part comes when Enrico approaches Ignatius. And in a very humble, subservient voice says, "Oh, my lord Ignatius, I know you've been seeking for a way to make yourself the apple of your father's eye, and I think I might have something that could help you. Of course, you would have to do all of the real work, and that's why it would be such a great moment for you. But I, a humble, wise man, could use the help of such a powerful and soon to be influential leader of men to deliver this box that contains, well, secrets best kept from mortal men like us. You know the sandstone caves over yonder hill? Well,
he probably does not, but he knows of Solstice, the gem of the West. Set the scene a little bit. Is this conversation happening?
This conversation
on the docks
is
of Sinteron.
It is happening one early morning as Ignatius is walking out of his, nice, fine royal estate or noble estate, and is being sort of stopped in the street in the early morning light on his way probably to church or something. And the Enrico mage comes on over and talks about this package that he needs delivered and how Ignatius is the only one who could really help him manage it. And that is the initiation from one character to the other. And then Ignatius, goes and finds Vire and tells him, "Vire, we're off. We have a secret mission. I can't tell you any more about it until we get there. Top secret, top sneaky. Come with me, Vire. We're going to do this thing for Enrico in 3 days' time."
And what lured Ignatius? Was it the money?
No, it's the prestige of doing some sort of great deed in order to be noticed when you're one of like 6 children and you're not the firstborn, and you desperately want to not have to end up joining the church in order to make ends meet later in life. And so you are, trying to pull yourself into some position. And, Ignatius has 3 HP. He's a sickly boy. He's always been the well, he's probably going to die, so let's not worry about him too much child. And so he really, really wants to get out of the shadow of like, well, he's not worth anything because he's probably going to die. And so he's desperate. He's hungry for glory.
Okay. So then Enrico may have not even told them about the unfathomable pouch of gold that is to be delivered upon receipt.
Absolutely not. Enrico's the mastermind of all of this. He's keeping the money for himself.
It also sounds like Ignatius is not from Sinteron, and maybe this conversation was unrelated to that. And they were somewhere else, perhaps a feudal lord of the Southern Isles, or maybe a noble of Solstice itself.
Probably nobles that have come to Sinteron recently, or maybe they're temporarily staying in an outpost here for some reason. Maybe the father's like a diplomat.
Renting some estate above the docks or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Hence the need for a bodyguard like Vire.
Right.
It's a rough and tumble place.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
Bodyguard, big air quotes around that, but yes.
So Enrico's booked you all passage on this galley, probably rented the quarters, and borrowed the rowboat.
With all that money he's made, yes.
Um, any anything else you want to do before we jump back into it?
I would like to have some idea of the gear my people are carrying. I think.
Yeah, that's where I was about to go.
Yeah.
So I was gonna. Perhaps we can set it up with flashbacks later if you forget anything. I'm willing to play a little fast and loose. But I was gonna have you sort of announce as you're pulling up on the docks, stepping out of this rowboat.
Mm-hmm.
What gear do you pull out of the boat, or what gear do your characters secure on their person? Make sure they've remembered to bring. We've got Enrico has this lantern.
Mm-hmm.
What do we see the other characters?
Well, Vire is understanding that this might be something sketchy, so he's brought his trusty mallet or stonemason's hammer, which I think we can just call probably a war hammer for today's purposes.
Sure.
And he doesn't know really what we're getting into. You said something about sandstone caves, I think, so he'll bring a chisel with him.
Fair enough.
You never know when you're going to need a chisel. And Vire's no dum-dum, so he's going to bring, like, 2 gallons of water. What does Enrico know about these sandstone caves? Enrico might be...
Which one is Enrico?
He's the mage. He's probably the local of the area, and the others are
roll
imported.
A charisma check? Nah.
No.
Nothing. I mean, I mean, you were in... Your contact told you to deliver them there, and I mean, like... Yeah, you haven't heard anything about them. They're and pulling up the rowboat, you see caverns in the sandstone cliffs.
Okay, so Enrico would he'd need light to get through there. Yeah. There might be some, something going on. He's gonna need some, probably like a stick. I would say he's got a quarterstaff. He's not a fighter, but he's not gonna walk into this area completely. Like if there's some rats around, he's gonna want to be able to push them away. So he'll bring a quarterstaff and his lantern. He's being paid a bunch of money for this, and he's got a package, so he figures if he needed any special gear, they would have told him to bring special gear, because otherwise you wouldn't want to lose your package. So all he probably needs is a light and a quarterstaff, and it's probably in and out in the same day. He's very smart, so he... Obviously, if he needed something, they would have supplied it for him. So all he brings is his quarterstaff and his lantern. Ignatius, being the cunning... and lad, it will probably bring like the fanciest weapon he can get his hands on. I don't know if that's like a scimitar or a longsword or some sort of like fancy thing that they've got lying around the house.
Just call it I would think something more like a saber.
Saber is perfect. Yeah.
Like a
and fancy boy that he is, he probably also has like a not silver dagger, it would be silvered, but we're just going to call it a dagger. And he thinks this is some great, interesting endeavor, and he'll want to write about it, so he's bringing a diary, and pen, and ink, and writing sand, and he's going to bring a lunch.
I love it.
And what else does a noble man need on a fancy quest? Oh, he's gonna need like a cape, not a cloak, a full-fledged cape, and a big hat. Like one of those hats that's pinned up on one side and has a feather coming out of it.
This hat will certainly come into play.
Absolutely. Vire, as we mentioned, he's got a war hammer, he's got a chisel, he's got 2 gallons of water, and I think when he gets to this point and he's like looking into these sandstone caves and looking at these people, he'll scrum around in the boat and see if there's some rope that you might use it to tie it to something, and if so, he'll bring the 50 feet of rope.
It's a boat. At this point, we can say sure. There's some rope.
You gotta tie yourself to a dock somewhere, right?
Yeah. Roll 1d50.
Oh, buddy. 32 feet of rope.
You got 32 feet of rope.
Okay.
Are you taking that with you, or are you tying the rowboat to something?
He will take the rope with him, and then he will drag the rowboat actually into the cave once Enrico has, lit the way. But first,
right.
Enrico's gonna scout out around a little bit, just kind of peer around the corner. Is this another entrance in?
Yeah. Yes, it is. If you'd like, you can roll it. We don't have perception.
I can roll it for him real quick if you want.
Yeah, roll yourself a perception stat, and then roll a perception check.
So this is for Vire. Oh, this is for Ignatius. Did not roll. 1d, 3d6. This is Ignatius. And this is Enrico. Still not doing it. 3d6. Enrico. Cool.
I'm liking these characters. So Vire is going to roll. Have Vire roll a perception check. I guess you can have Enrico. Is he the mage? It looked like Enrico was the one you declared looking around, but I think Vire is the more alert one.
Yeah, Vire's looking for a place to pull this boat, so he's walking around with Enrico, like looking at what might be a good spot.
Vire feels pretty confident that the coast is clear. It is loud. Rain is coming down hot and heavy. It's warm, so you're not like at risk of freezing. And it's dark. It's like pre-dawn.
Okay. Well,
Vire feels like at least this landing is secured. Did Enrico roll his own check, or Enrico's just...
yeah, he's looking around too. I forgot to roll his check. That 1d20 plus 13.
I think 26. Normally we'll just have one character roll.
Okay.
But Enrico's, they were kind of doing separate things. Yeah, so Enrico, it looked like he walked around this landing, spots 3 cave entrances. Above you is hundreds of feet of cliff face. You can't see in the dark.
Okay.
I don't know what else you'd like to ask. The tide is high, but
which way does the river flow? Is it going north?
There's ocean behind you.
Oh, okay, got it.
The docks of Solstice are a few hundred yards south of here. You just rode for, I don't know, less than an hour to from your galley that was heading to dock. Maybe as you were docking before the customs officers showed up or whatever.
I would like to know where we are in the tides. If we bring the boat in, I want to make sure that we bring it in enough that it's not going to get washed out.
You passed your perception check. The tides are high right now.
Perfect.
It is unlikely that the water will come in at all. In fact, it will probably go out. So maybe if you left your boat there, it would wash away with the tide. But
we'll just pull it in just a little bit further so that it's not sitting in the rain. So that the whole boat is inside the cave. Yeah. I guess that will bring us... I don't know
what arrangement you made with the ship captain. You probably slipped him a gold or 2 to borrow it for the day. So if you see him again, he may be pissed if you lose his boat. But
yeah, well,
maybe that's not your biggest concern.
Certainly isn't right now. And then I think we will come into this point, knowing that there are multiple entrances. We'll bring our boat into the middle one. Always take the middle road. And... I think Ignatius will look around to Enrico and say, well, you're the man who knows everything. Lead the way. And Enrico, brave as he is, will take his torch and... Lantern, thank you.
Spent most of your bonus on this lantern.
I thought it was a spell. And head out this way.
Carry on. Let's have them move slowly in case I need to stop or anything, but you can kind of inch them along turn by turn. I think I've got them sticking to the hexes, but it's not strictly necessary.
Yeah. Well, I think Enrico will get to here and look down this passageway to the left and muse to himself that this must lead right outside. And then he'll come on down here with these people and take a look here and say, well, I think there might be another entrance. The other entrance might be down here. Let's double check. Make sure we have an idea of what our layout is.
All right. Pause right there and roll a d10 for me.
Oh, that's not good. That's actually a really bad roll.
Y'all are surprised as... Did I put these stupid things on the map layer? No. Maybe you're so focused on the sound of your own heartbeat, the dripping of water outside, that you don't hear the skittering of rats as your light illuminates down this crevice, startling the creatures within. How do I switch their layer? Token layer. And more probably startled by your light than anything, a throng of giant rats rushes past the party. Let's... And no one is injured. They skitter past you, around you, avoiding you, fearful of the light. No opportunity attacks incurred. In fact, I don't really think anything would happen unless you want to pursue them. So, like, within the round, within the surprise, they move on past. Are you all interested in engaging with giant rats, or shall we?
Ignatius is absolutely going to try and swing at a rat if he can beat them in movement before they run past.
With the surprise, they were scurrying out of the light before you have a chance to get opportunity attacks. We can roll into initiative if you would like to.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Enrico would love to roll into initiative. 1d10 plus scimitar speed. I want to say is 5. Got the book right here. Scimitar weapon speed factor is 5. Huzzah! He rolls in at 11. The others aren't interested in fighting rats.
11. It's the initiative of a small creature.
3. Tiny is 0, but
3.
Small is 3.
So you can see the rats where you can see them, and you can move. You go before them. You can move your token and go smash a rat.
Oh, excellent. Enrico will scurry over to the only rat that he can actually see. Not Enrico. Ignatius will scurry over to the only rat he can actually see, and brandishing his scimitar, yell out, "Huzzah! At these small creatures!" Saber. Yes. With a 13 to hit.
Yeah, roll for damage. I think it's probably a d6 or a d6 plus 1. Pitiful, but...
Absolutely pitiful. Your voice is a little bit broken-y.
A little bit pitiful?
It's a little bit robot-y.
How is this?
Oh, it's perfect.
Getting better?
Yeah, much better.
Internet's... Your slash is as pitiful as the rats. And you barely nick the creature.
But a barely nick on a rat must be a kill.
You'd think so, but not quite. Let's see. The other creatures skitter away. This one skitters as well, provoking an opportunity attack with your saber.
Absolutely. Plus 0 to hit is a 13.
Roll your damage again.
Yeah, you said 1d6. There we go.
Ooh, when you get him on the second swipe, skewering the one rat, the other 3 flee.
Ah, you see that? You see that? He says, speaking to Vire, who nods his head solemnly. Yes, my lord. Excellent. And he turns back to Enrico and sort of rolls his eyes.
It is a disturbingly large rat.
I think with that knowledge in mind, Ignatius will pick it up by the tail and bring it back to the party, or maybe the party comes to it to take a look, and say, "Wow, look at the size of this!" Enrico, what do you know of these creatures? And Enrico would like to make
Roll, probably
history
another
check?
charisma check, right? I think like more on the local
The lore.
history side of things.
charisma check for Enrico is at +9. 16. He knows nothing.
Does he make something up, or?
Oh, absolutely. They're nothing to worry about. They just grow large from the jungles out here. They're ordinary rats for this part of the world. You must come from somewhere else where you have small rats.
Yeah.
And it's understood and taken as is.
We're not in the jungles anymore, by the way. That was the flashback. We've sailed across the seas. I mean, yeah.
Right, I thought Cinteron was near...
It is, yeah. The ship.
Oh, but this is... Okay, we sailed from Cinteron.
Landed in
Right.
Solstice.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's...
Either way, it could have snuck aboard a ship.
No, but Enrico
Maybe
doesn't
it
know
came
what
with
he's
you.
talking about, so he's like, the rats are bigger out here, because he knows the rats are big back home, so he just assumes they're big here as well. Here's the page I was looking for. Saber, D6 +1, speed 5.
Oh.
Perfect. Okay.
Cool. All right. Rat vanquished.
Yeah, the party is going to move onward. And from which way did the rats come? Did they come out of this hole or up here?
You were surprised. I think you don't know. They were about you before you had a chance. One of those two directions.
Got it. Well then, we will keep coming down here. And despite being the so-called leader of the party, Ignatius is sort of sticking to the back, letting his minions go first, because that's what a good lord does, is he lets his troops head in before anyone else. And then the mage, Enrico, will try to look around this corner. That's not what he was expecting. I'm down here. I'm down here. I'm down here.
Yeah. Roll, I know you didn't ask, or maybe roll a surprise check instead of a perception check. I'll have you call for perception checks. So roll yourself another d10.
6.
So you're not surprised. Who has the? I think Vire. Here's footfall echoing in the caverns around him.
Vire will grab Enrico by the cloak over him and whisper "shh" and hold up his hand to the young noble man behind him, and start to look about immediately. And I think everyone sort of intuitively starts to look in different directions.
Yeah, roll an active perception check to guess the appropriate direction. I'm trying to locate an appropriate token.
Oh, that's not good enough. The young lad is saying, "What is it?
Yeah.
What is it?" And Vire's trying to shut him up so he can listen. But the young lad cannot be stifled. Cannot be stifled.
Okay. Object. All right. Y'all are looking around. I think the caverns are echoey, and you actually don't see anything the way your light is positioned. But Enrico, for some reason, Enrico and Ignatius sound so similar. Ignatius is the noble, right?
Ignatius is the noble. Enrico is named after Enrico Fermi, the physicist. So maybe that'll help you separate them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a voice near Ignatius shouts out, "Ho there!
Hello there!"
You've got the scent of magic about you.
Enrico
What are you
will
doing in these caves?" And
come back and make a shh noise.
Stepping out from the shadows, shielded from the lamplight, is Bondage Man. Just kidding. The token was the best I could come up with. It is a figure, slight and humanoid. His face wrapped in a turban or something like that, concealing his entire face, and shrouded in a cloak. tucked under it are the unmistakable bulges of blades.
I am Lord Ignatius. We are here. He pauses. He thinks for a moment. Who are you?
I am Rafal.
Ignatius throws a look over at Enrico, who makes no motion in response. And Ignatius looks at Rafal and goes, Rafal!
Surely my reputation precedes me.
No. I have not heard of you. Perhaps you think too much of yourself. Tell me, Rafal, what is your purpose here?
I was minding my own business when I caught the whiff of some sorcery. And he looks to, what's his name?
Enrico. Enrico holds up the lantern a little bit closer to his face to sort of like, shine light on this person, but also make it harder to look at Enrico because there's like a bright source of light next to him. And Enrico will speak up and say, and he won't. He'll keep it shut. And Vire is a little uncomfortable in the back. He's supposed to protect this kid, but now he's sort of blocked behind the kid, and so he'll wait for Ignatius to speak up, and he will. Ignatius will finally say, "Well then, Rufus, there's nothing here for you. If you smell sorcery, it's only my men, magically enchanted people that they are. We have business in these caves. If your business is none of ours, I encourage you to go on your way. Else I charge you for the privilege of standing in my light."
Yeah. Roll a charisma check.
Yeah, well, his charisma is through the roof. Ignatius? Is this how you spell Ignatius?
Yeah, your noble air puts him off. And besides, there's 3 of you. So he takes a step back and through his veil stares daggers at Enrico. But he leaves you to walk away, or if you stand there long enough, you will slowly back out into the shadows.
Yeah, Ignatius will watch him as a lord watches a commoner with the withering expression of "begone from my light," until he's at least retreated to the shadows, and then look back and says, Enrico, you didn't say we were going to meet other people on this journey. Was this man supposed to be here? Who is he? Tell me more about our purpose here. And Enrico will quietly say, these caves are used by many people, but he is not any part of our plan. We should keep an eye on him, though. Brigands may abound, and if he smells magic, he must be inherently enchanted himself. He could be a danger. Keep an eye out for any exceedingly large rats, my lord. It could be this foul creature in hiding. Shape-changer. I should have brought my silver dagger, says Ignatius to himself. And then as Enrico moves forward, Vire will let the Lord take the middle position, realizing that people might come from behind. Yes. We'll get to this spot, and Enrico is going to try and make a perception check down this area. He's going to look or listen for the sound of ocean and water to see if this does lead back to the sea. Enrico makes a PCP check. /R1d20 plus 13. Ugh.
Yeah, this whole cave system is slightly damp and salty, but you do not hear the sound of the ocean ahead.
It must be the way back. We saw a way forward over here. Right this way, man. And he will turn around, turning the whole party with him, and head back the way they came. Enrico is aware that there's that strange dude who introduced himself as something, and then the young lord called him Rufus, which was definitely not his name. So he's going to kind of keep an eye out specifically. And when we get to this waypoint, he will call Vire up to the front and ask Vire if he can see any tracks left by this person. And Vire will make a... Vire makes a tracking check. I don't know what you want for tracking check, just a perception check, I assume?
Yeah, I'll adjust the difficulty, but...
I hope that the softness of the cave floor, sand, silt...
It's not soft.
Oh.
I mean, it's sandstone, so there's a fine layer of sand atop it, but it's pretty hard packed. It's more or less rock.
Okay.
There are no apparent footprints.
Well,
neither your own nor the others.
Yeah, Enrico will tell them to sit here for a moment while he just checks out this passage. But coming to the end of it, yeah, he gets to the end and kind of peers back.
And it kind of narrows down to the point where you'd have to like squeeze to get it any further.
He'll set the lantern down and try to squeeze.
Perhaps there's something back there if you like shoved your head in.
Yeah, he's gonna try and make some sort of like squeezing back into the tight crevice to see if there's like a, if there's room to slide any further.
Yeah, roll a perception check.
$24?
You can see before you stick your head in that there is a like bundle of sticks and other refuse in the back. This must be the rat's nest, and you catch yourself. Think better of it before you go sticking your head or your hand down to the back of that crevice.
Super gross. All right. This way? No, this way. That's the right voice. And we will head to this area. Getting back to more or less the entrance from which we came.
There's a rat corpse. You see some scurrying on the edge of your light radius as rats dart out of view.
Okay. Very carefully, Enrico's going to come to the edge and peer around this corner while the others follow up behind him, although this should be the marching order now. I guess another perception check is in order.
Sure.
Why is roll 20 not letting me? Usually if you use the up arrow, you can get your last roll, but it's not happening. Nice. Peers around the corner with the lantern, like shining it round as he looks.
Dang. You are confident that this area is secured. There's the dead rat. There's no secret passages. I mean, if it wasn't already clear, you're back where you started. Those passages to the left lead back out to the ocean. The right, there is an eerie stillness, and stepping forward, you see a like mineral formation jutting out of the center.
All right, well, we're definitely going to come take a look at this, and Ignatius will step forward to like really inspect it and get down close to the ground. Vire feels deeply uncomfortable about this and is going to like watch everyone's back. And Enrico, being the, also wizard sort of person, will come over, and the two of them will discuss and can Enrico make an intelligence check to see what this formation might be? Oh, I can't understand a word you're saying. Sound like the devil himself. No idea. But it's a great check. I don't know what happens, but he figures it out, hopefully. It actually just sounds like you're muted at this point. I think we should take a break when we get to this mineral formation, and we'll come back on the other side with some solved tech issues. See you guys soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death.
You approached the mineral formation and accidentally summoned Ryan's creepy demon voice.
That's exactly what I thought it was.
Can you hear music? Because
I can.
cannot. Okay,
Absolutely.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, so what is this formation?
As light sheds on the minerals, it becomes clear that it is a large colony of coral.
Coral?
Which shouldn't be growing on the surface, so I don't know if it's
shouldn't be growing
here
above
was
water.
Placed here. Enrico approaches and notices that encircling the formation is a circle, a fine dusting of a powder. Kneel down next to it, give it an eye. Probably know better than to eat it or disturb it. Who knows?
He doesn't know.
But,
he's definitely going to taste it.
It appears to be a dust of the same or a similar material. So a circle of coral powder, maybe mixed with other stuff. Who knows? It's a little shimmery, but
what does it taste like?
I mean, what does it taste like?
Yes, Enrico will wet the tip of an index finger after like pulling off a glove, and tap the powder, and then like brush it against his tongue. Just the very, very pad of his index finger, and then he'll put his glove back on.
It tastes like sorcery. I mean, I don't know. Nothing immediately happens. You don't die.
Okay.
It tastes kind of chalky, minerally. Looking at it wet, you see some glint, so maybe there's like some silver or something mixed in with here. It seems pretty apparent that it's some kind of magic circle.
With the softness of his tongue, can you tell how fine of a grind we're talking about here? Is it like sand, fine, or is it it's like chalky chalk, like broken up?
Yeah, okay. It's like a fine powder, likely ground with a mortar and pestle or some similar implement.
He will declare, "This circle, obviously man-made, but made by someone with the time, tools, and efforts to put deep intent into this." And he will just casually reach out his hand to the young lad and say, "Hand me your dagger." And then he'll cross without disturbing the circle, he'll reach his arm over the circle and dig at the base of the coral to see if it's placed on the ground or if it like actually embeds itself into the stonework here.
Yeah, it is embedded into the ground. It's not stonework. These are natural caverns.
Okay.
Yeah. How deep do you how close do you get? Like, do you? I mean, you're obviously passing the threshold, but do you like get down on your hands and knees and like crawl up to the base?
Yeah, hands on the knees, but the knees will stay on the outside of the circle, and then reaching just one arm over to whatever the closest piece of coral is. And if I have to move around the edge, I'll move around the edge. But whatever's the closest section of coral, I just want to dig at the base of the coral to see if I can find where it meets stone, and then to see if it's like growing out of the stone or if it's been placed within the stone.
I'm not sure. At first glance, you can't tell the difference. It is integrated into the natural stone floor. It would take you minutes and more investigation to determine further.
We will take
Would
minutes.
you like to take 10 minutes to dig around in here? And
we would like to take 10 minutes. And where's the closest section of coral so I can put my people appropriately on the token? Is this the closest section?
You can more or less use the scribbles.
Well, then we're going to be right here because this looks like the closest scribble, other than the ones that actually go outside the circle.
It's like 3-dimensional. So the ones going outside of the circle are like their base is within the.
Got it. And they're reaching out and above.
Yeah, they're reaching out and above. Got it. But the base is all within. You dig around. Let's have Vile roll a perception check while he's on watch.
Vire rolls PCP / 1d20 plus 16. 23.
Yeah. You hear movement in the hallway outside. Can you see anything on your map?
Nope. I can see
Then you can't see anything.
here. Yeah.
Okay. So Vile hears movement.
He will call back, psst, and then sort of move to here and sort of like press himself against the wall a little bit. I mean, the light's going to give him away, but he's going to try and make himself like thin and scarce to whatever might be coming down the hallway.
Okay. If it comes to it, we'll have either them roll a surprise check or you roll a dex check or something to conceal yourself, but that's fine for now. Nothing comes of it. You maybe hear a few more shuffles, but nothing comes in to disturb you, and you don't see or hear much further.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Enrico dulls the dagger digging into the sandstone. I don't know if any further check is required. You nailed the first one. Like, unless you're doing something substantially different, we'll just roll with it. It appears to be well integrated into the floor. I don't know how, maybe you can describe how you would determine the difference between it growing out of the floor or being placed. I mean, I guess if it's a natural floor, it would have had to grow out of the floor.
I think
or be like magically integrated into the floor. Both seem possible.
The idea is to see if like the coral, like if there's maybe a ridge around it that someone has like cut a hole in the floor and then placed the coral in, or if the floor and the coral are seamlessly translated.
It's fairly
transition.
So either it's the finest of craftsmanship or magical integration, or it grew out of this at some point in the past. The colors of the coral are rich enough that like it doesn't appear like if it were old, it should be bleached white and dead. So like there's clearly something magical about it. There's possibly also some element of craftsmanship. Yeah, it's clearly placed here for some magical purpose, but
could you select both of my other tokens and say that they have vision? Because I think all I can see is from Enrico's point of view.
They don't, vision.
There we go.
Now, can you see anything more?
No, I can't see anything more, but the token colors are changing so that they're not blending into the background. They're like...
Okay.
Yeah, they look like people now. Cool. And in case there's other sources of light, I want them to be able to see, but there's no other sources of light. Well, having discovered nothing other than there's magic integrating these things in work, we will continue. And hey, I can see Bondage Boy.
Yeah, he's peering around the corner, watching whatever you're doing. As you approach, he goes to flee. So I don't know if you want to roll initiative to chase him down, or if you just you let him run.
No. Okay. But Enrico will say to Ignatius here, my lord, this man seems to be following us, and judging by his headwear, I think he is not to be trusted.
What gave it away?
Might I propose thank you, might I propose that we lay an ambush for him? I can walk round a corner. This is all in like a nice hushed whisper. I can walk round a corner, and the two of you, as he comes by, can take the man down. And Ignatius is going to make a willpower check, because it sounds like the sort of thing that he would want to do. And he fails, and he bites the bait. Yes, that sounds like an excellent plan. And he comes over and says, Vire, I think this man here is trying to steal this package that we've got going. He seems like a nefarious fiend. I've told Enrico that he's to lead on ahead, since this man can smell his magic, and we will lay a trap for the man. Come now, let's find a sufficient corner to help us with this. And then, in this marching order, we will continue to go back. This way, then up this way. I see rats.
Yeah. It hisses as you approach with the light, and you walk past it, and it attacks you. Can you can see that rat, can't you?
I can see the rat. Yeah. It attacks.
Yeah. Roll initiative, I guess.
Okay. I suppose it will.
I was resolving its actions, but you pressed the issue. So let's roll initiative. Like it's rat in the headlights, like it's and it doesn't move, but as you step within a few feet of it, I guess we'll see. Like maybe you go first and smash it, but it doesn't move. It like spellbound rears, hisses. Have you rolled a d10?
I tried, but it broke. Enrico will roll initiative d10 plus 4 for his quarterstaff. And
so
I think
it is stunned in your light radius. You can smash it with a staff while it
absolutely
while it reels, crushing the creature. Roll d6.
Yeah, I had to double check the quarterstaff damage. 1d6. Whap with the stick on the large rat.
Right. You crushed the rat.
Excellent.
You're bona fide adventurers.
Excellent. Now tell me,
and if it's not clear from the this is water. If it's not clear from my horrible doodle, that's the sandstone shore rushes against an interior body of water.
Well, the party will spread out a little bit, and Enrico will walk the length and the breadth.
Can your light radius reveal anything?
He can see that there's something over here. And he's going to get to the very edge of this land.
That's the edge. That's the edge of the cavern. Yeah, that's the edge of my paper and the edge of the cavern. So it's a wall. It's a wall of stone. There are like barnacles and like seaweeds and things growing around. It looks like your light radius isn't quite revealing it, but there is you can like see some sort of like a rock or something an island in the water at the edge of your vision.
Enrico will look
sloshing.
You hear sloshing. Oh, well, that changes things.
Water.
Normal, like water moving.
Normal water sloshing. Okay. Yeah. You can.
Enrico
investigate further, but
will look to Ignatius and give him the nod. And Ignatius will move to this side of the cavern, and Vire will move to this side, and they will both press themselves against the walls as much as possible. And then Enrico will come over to this side and use his lantern in one hand, quarterstaff in the other, and kind of reach the quarterstaff out into the water and test its depth. And if the water is no deeper than Enrico's knees, he will begin to walk out into the water, plodding each step in front of him.
The water, at least here, is no deeper than your knees, so you can take a few steps out into it. Yeah. It's a little rocky, but you're fine. However, give me just a second. Ignatius and Vile here would fall.
Yeah. Well, Vire is going to call out.
Can you see Rafal creeping into your light radius, or is it blocked?
I can sort of see. Hold on, let me zoom in. I'm at like pretty far zoom out. I can see a head right here.
Okay. So you see him sort of creeping down the hallway.
Oh, exactly. Perfect. Then these two gentlemen are going to jump out of the shadows, and Ignatius is just trying to.
Can you roll something to determine something for each of them to determine how well they hid? I feel like I'll take Dex or Charisma to see if you get your surprise round. Oh, he's not surprised, but to see if you get your ambush.
Right. So Vire rolls a 1d20 plus 10 and 1d20 plus.
You can use his Charisma. He used his
16.
Social aptitude to. Yeah.
So
Ignatius lunges with, Vire gives it away, but Ignatius went unnoticed and gets a free attack in with his saber if he would so choose.
He would so choose. Furthermore, he will slash with the saber for a +1 to hit and -1 to damage, and he will slash with the blunt side of the saber to do non-lethal damage, which is, I don't know, 1d20 plus.
I think you get a -4 to hit or something like that.
I think it's -4 and you do half damage. Yeah. But he
alternately, I had a bash attack. So we can either use non-lethal damage, or the bash instead of a slash would give you -2 to hit.
Oh, that's perfect. Temporary
-1
damage.
to your
yeah.
AC, I think,
Mhm.
and it does temp damage.
Absolutely. That is
so let's, instead of this slash, just take a -2 to hit.
excellent. All right. So
And-
-2 to hit, +2 for surprise. Since he's coming out of the shadows?
He's not surprised.
Okay.
It's an ambush. He'd
Gotcha.
roll the surprise and pass.
Then here we go. It's a 0.
You
It's
rolled
a
a
0
to hit.
I rolled a
Okay.
0 to hit.
Let's roll initiative for everyone.
All right. Me, Ignatius, int 1d10 plus 5, and slash me, Vire, int 1d10 plus
Let's get some more
Warhammer
appropriate music. Sorry, I guess I should have let you DJ, huh?
4. All right, 10 and 8. Yeah.
I got it.
But if I DJ, then you can't hear it because I'd have to run it through something else.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Excellent. And with the sound, also, what's his name? Enrico is going to roll in. $1d10 plus 3. Quarterstaff has got to be 4. 4. 8, 9, 10. Excellent.
Sweet. 8, 9, 10. He goes first. And I think he will just respond, drawing a blade and lunging at Ignatius. Is that the one who stabbed at him? Yeah.
The one who rolled a 0, the least threatening person in the entire scene.
Mm-hmm. He's
Goodbye,
also has
Ignatius.
a relatively unthreatening jab with a dagger, and utters some incomprehensible, like, "Wait, I meant no offense," or something that is clearly not true, because here he is lurking around these dungeons with a bondage mask on.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't actually have a bondage. Let's say this guy has been way the token made him way goofier than I intended him to be. But
The tokens will
I
do
had
that
this vision in my
sometimes.
head, and I was quickly trying to come up with a like encloaked figure.
Mhm.
Anyways,
Instead, we got like a gimp from the gimp from Pulp Fiction.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he like combat maneuvers through you, like to not provoke OAs, but he like so he doesn't provoke OAs, but he like tries to maneuver, like so like on guard. He kind of passes through before Vile has a chance to get his weapon up. He's gone past you, and I guess he's facing the wrong way. So he stays facing. If that makes sense. But
I
closes.
will not argue
Yeah.
this because it's to my advantage.
Yeah, I don't know what he's.
Excellent.
okay.
Well, Vire's here to protect this kid, and he thinks that strangers lurking in dungeons is a bad thing, and if anything happens to this kid, he'll get in a lot of trouble, and if he accidentally kills someone or, wounds someone, hurts someone, he's going to get in a lot less trouble. The goal is not to kill someone, but the goal is also to save his own life, and this guy's creepy, and this place is creepy, and he doesn't want to die, so he will attack at +0, I suppose, with a regular Warhammer smash.
Oh my. This guy's way goofier than I intended. That will hit.
And the Warhammer will bash into a shoulder or an elbow or a clavicle or something for 3 points of damage.
A sickening crunch. He winces, drops to a knee. He's still going, but
Excellent.
extra D6 HP. Okay. Cool. Drops to a knee, raises the dagger on guard. What is Enrico doing?
Enrico will come right back the same way that he went out. Lantern in one hand, quarterstaff in the other. And he is not going to... He would like to place his quarterstaff on the shoulder or on the small of the guy's back. Like he wants to touch him with the quarterstaff without actually like doing damage, just as like a hey, I'm right behind you, watch out, you're surrounded maneuver.
Got it. So mechanically readying an attack or something?
Sure, that's perfect. Yeah, he'll ready an attack and say, you said he already dropped to his knees? Drop your dagger.
That was,
and I will.
He's like in a lunge Neal type position.
Got
that
it.
was more flavor to indicate the severity of the blow.
Excellent.
Well, nothing.
Enrico will command him to drop a dagger, and Ignatius will follow up with another saber attack, trying to bash and do non-lethal damage. So
has he had a turn yet or not?
No, he's coming up, and Ignatius is the next one.
You typed that wrong.
I did. Natural 20, maybe? The dice will resolve. A 14. 14 will do 1d6 plus 1 damage, but 10% stun. Okay, it's just temporary damage. So he will bash for 3.
Ooh. He like flies back. He's not dead. He's groaning. Is this this is a bash? So roll a D100.
Right. 1d100. 30 or less? No.
Rafal will never surrender. I'll have your magic. And I guess we roll initiative. I don't. You didn't define what would provoke your ready to attack, but I think it doesn't come off.
It is. Making an attack is the readied action. But we will initiative again.
He rolls shit. So I think you probably just gather around and kick this guy into unconsciousness if you would like. But go ahead and roll your initiatives. Actually, Enrico is slower than him, accounting for weapon speed and all.
Right. All right. Vire is.
That is actually really bad.
Vire's, I think, is an 11 modified.
Vire can go.
Yeah, it's
Vire
11.
can make an attack.
Vire once again, not pulling punches here. Swings the warhammer, trying to kill the man, trying to save his own hide. All right.
I guess you get a ready to attack still, huh?
Yeah, he was just going to hold his action for a ready to attack. Yeah.
Well, Rafal, he's basically on the ground. He's not mechanically he's not prone, but he's within inches of his life. But he rolls over and goes to throw his dagger at Enrico, which does provoke an OA. Does pull off your ready to attack,
which is a wild mess.
Would you have the ready to attack go? I guess it doesn't matter.
He wasn't going.
To go off before, like when he declares, or do they both resolve? Right, like if you were ready.
Is the ready to attack and interrupt? I don't
think it does. I think if you had hit and killed him, he would still get his attack. I think, right? Like you couldn't kill him before he. Maybe I don't know how the order of operations work. What is
it's 5.
What is Enrico's AC?
Enrico's AC is 8, I believe.
Okay, so he does get hit with the dagger, which I described as throwing. He's still within a few feet, so he didn't need to throw. I don't know if it matters one way or another. Maybe a stab makes more sense. A throw probably.
I don't know if
penalties.
I don't know if it does, but if he doesn't have his dagger, it's fine. These guys will just stand around and kick the shit out of him. So here comes a warhammer.
Okay, it's only.
Yeah.
No, hold on. He just stabbed. He just stabbed. What's his face?
Oh, Enrico. I thought he missed. You said.
Enrico.
Oh.
No, you missed. I was saying if you had killed him, I was trying to figure out what would this attack resolve. But you didn't kill him. No. It only does 1 damage. However, there is an interaction with your sorcery, and a burst of magic is released. Normally, what would happen is you would release a spell, a random spell, memorized spell.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't memorize spells, but you wanted this guy to be a sorcerer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like, what happens here? Do we want to like resolve a wild surge to see what magical energy Enrico had on hand? Was
Enrico comes
Was your first
from...
level spell literally a lantern?
No. Enrico comes from the jungles, and this sort of like more this less refined area. His magic is more sorcery than wizardry. It's more internal, and so the things that he's closest to is sort of like the bugs and the insects and the creatures of the area. And I think Enrico would like to be able to conjure, and has been trying to figure out how to conjure creatures, starting with the smallest ones. Like he's trying to be able to conjure like a dragonfly. And so if there's going to be some sort of outspurting of magic, it might have something to do with the conjuration sphere, or with a school, or with insects, or with just like the humidity and moisture with which he is so familiar and trying to tap into. So if I roll a d3, it's a summoning related thing that spits out.
Yeah, and mechanically, I don't think this will actually wind up mattering. We can discuss details later if you decide to interact with it. But there is, what does the magic look like as it's released momentarily into the air?
It is when you summon creatures from one place to another, technically there's like a portal that opens up between one place and the creature gets sucked through, but normally the portal is like just sized large enough that the creature itself takes up the whole size of the portal, and the portal grows and shrinks with the creature. And in this case, there's no actual creature being summoned, and so for a moment there is just a hole in space-time next to or slightly behind Enrico that appears and stays open for the duration that you would like summon some sort of creature into the realm.
Cool. Yeah, so Rafal slashes out with his curved blade, and like from the wound, behind the wound, this magical energy is released, opening a portal. But for a moment, in his offhand, he is wielding some sort of implement, some device that sucks the portal into it, as he shouts "Ha ha!" and dies as Vile bashes his head in, or whatever that roll was.
Yep.
Is that 16?
The 16 to hit, and the damage 1d4 plus 1 is probably enough.
Yeah. So he shouts "Ha ha!" and Vile pops him on the head. And
how much damage did Enrico take?
Just the one.
Okay.
Roll for me a perception check.
No, I've noticed the crab.
Okay,
I saw the crab when he was squares away.
There are giant crabs, perhaps lured by the scent of blood or the sound of combat, emerging from the water.
Yeah, I think Vire, who is the one who's probably most likely to notice this, will say, "Enrico, get over here! There's giant things from the sea! There's giant shellbacks!" Rico, being the intelligent man, will say, the crustaceans. And
roll initiative.
All right. 1d. Can I just roll 1d10 for my whole party?
Yeah, sure. We can do
8 for my party.
Eight for the party?
8 for the party.
You moved, but I think I will allow it. They will scuttle onto the land. Rolling. Let's see. I think unless you want to intervene, this one like bumbles into the rock and gets itself like stuck on a wall. It's like glitching out like some crappy monster in a video game. Like it gets wedged in this weird corner here, and like its claw is too big to fit, and it's like stuck and jittering. This one will grab Rafal and start to drag him back into the water to eat if no one wants to stop him.
Oh, Enrico will definitely shout, "Don't let him take the body!" And Ignatius, having the time of his life, not being hit with any attacks, and certainly seeing the party in the path of victory, is 100% in on this crab smashing activity. Vire, who realizes that life is precious and short, and oh my god, we might be near the end of it, is less enthusiastic, but he must protect the child. And so the party will, engage this crab.
All right. It sinks its claws into Rafal on its turn, maybe killing him. You hear some sickening crunches as it grabs a foot or it grabs his arm or something. You hear like an arm break as it starts to drag it back into the water, but not before the three of you pile on. So make 3 attacks.
Right, Ignatius will call out, "This time I'm not holding back!" And he will make a... What is the... -1 to hit, +1 to damage. He'll make a hack attack at the crab. Huzzah! Shattering off of the armor, scraping off of the armor. Vire will just 1d20 +0 to hit because he's just going to try and shell shock it in. Warhammer. And
10?
Yeah, I don't think so.
These guys have crazy AC.
15 AC on the giant crab default. Yep.
And 7. Oh no, that's they have 17 AC.
No.
I want to. Yeah.
Giant crabs? What?
Yeah. These guys are nasty for the XP they give. I want to say that I feel like a hammer.
They have 16 AC. You can't do math. That's 17 Thaco. Can you read?
Armor class 3.
4. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm looking at crab man, not at crustacean.
This is a giant crab.
Got it.
Crab, yeah. I feel like a warhammer should get a bonus to this. I'm feeling generous. I think I'll call a 10 with a warhammer a hit on a crab.
You use hammers to break apart crab shells at parties, right? It's a thing.
What is this? Yeah.
Yeah.
10 hits.
He's
roll
Florida
damage.
man, certainly. 1d4 +1.
Max damage. It doesn't die, but it cracks the crab shell.
Excellent. And
we'll roll for initiative.
Enrico gets an attack as well with the quarterstaff, which he will try. I think he sets the lantern down maybe in this tile as he steps forward, so he can two-hand his quarterstaff, which is thematic because there's no difference, I don't think.
I don't think you can use a quarterstaff one-handed. I think
I think you're right, actually.
Weapon.
Sure. Then he is setting it down and quarterstaffing in on the crab. Whap!
Holy crap.
With a 2d6 and 8 points of damage to the crab for a total of 13 in this round.
I don't think he thwaps it. I think he just sticks it in the hole that the hammer left and just brains the crab.
Sticks it in, turns it around, and
yeah. The thing twitches, lets go of the body, and dies. I guess roll initiative to see what the other crab does.
All right. 1d10 for my party. Another 8.
The crab goes first. It scuttles forward and grabs the corpse of the rat. You are close enough to... I think the rat's small enough that I'll let it go, grab the rat, and leave in a turn.
Yeah, and Enrico's fine with that. We don't care about the rat body
if you want, but if you're content to let the battle end, it will grab the rat corpse and disappear into the water.
Do not want to provoke the second crab, just want to fight the first crab. So that way we can loot the body of the man. Is he a man?
Yeah.
Is he a gimp?
He is a man. Do you disrobe him?
Well, first we take off the mask and see who it really is. Is it Old Man Withers?
No, it's a relatively young man. He's tanned of skin, despite wearing a mask all day, and clean shaven, long hair that's tied back, fairly handsome. Yeah, pretty. And of note on his person is there's a curved dagger, I guess mechanically, I guess technically more like a knife, and then a 18-inch thick metal rod that is intricately carved. At first glance, I mean, it's quite valuable. And
Did you say 18-inch thick rod?
18 inches long,
Okay.
relatively thick, so probably
Got it,
2 inches thick. Like solid
Iron?
No. There's a coin purse with 11 gold in it.
Well, I will take the 11. Ignatius will take the 11 gold, claiming it for himself, since he's the leader of the party.
And I think that's more or less it. He's got a lunch. He brought a lunch.
That's good. But what's this rod made out of?
I don't know. Does anyone have any relevant skills?
I mean,
metal. Looks to be like maybe brass or something.
Okay, but it's a brassy color. It's not an iron or silver color.
It has intricate runes carved all over it. There are bands of a different color. I mean, it's essentially a rod, staff, or wand or something. It is a fine piece of craftsmanship. Well, immensely valuable. And I mean, you saw it suck up the magical energy that it released from Enrico. So it's as
Ignatius is going for the gold, and Vire is looking very scared, not scared, but worried at those crabs. Enrico will grab this rod, which I'm going to just call it for the sake of conversation, and think back to his arcanology histories, to the things that he's learned about wizards and mages, the things that he's heard about sorcerers and shamans and witches and warlocks, and the runes that he might have seen if there were any markings in that other room, and any other sort of runes that he might have seen around, or any sort of scribes or scrawls, and see if he can't tell anything about this.
Did you think that you took an arcanology proficiency? Was that in your plans?
Yeah, I mentioned arcanology.
Or did you throw that out? Okay, then
I wrote it down, but it's more of the
check.
The history of people rather than of items. Yeah, 1d20 plus 16.
Are you trying to lawyer yourself out of int and into a charisma check?
No, no, int is way better here.
This is nothing that you would have heard about because it's not in the rule books. It's in Ryan's homebrew. But it's more. I mean, it's in that, more or less in that. Or you could piece it together from the doc that I sent you. But I mean, just using basic logic.
Hello? Yeah?
Autofocus?
Yeah.
Based on what you saw, and what you can see investigating it, it's clearly a valuable magical artifact, essentially a rod or a wand, and it just absorbed some magical energy from you. Beyond that, I mean, you nailed your check, so if you have more specific questions, but it's not.
Is there any particular school of magic or sphere of divinity associated with this rod based on its markings?
It is obviously arcane. It's not divine magic.
Okay. Well, he would like to hold this rod and focus on this rod and sort of do like a 360 circle. Well, hold on, let me refine. He'll put down the box over, 5 feet away from him, like next to Vire, put it at Vire's feet essentially, and then step back and spin with the rod and see if he can feel the rod being pulled in the direction of the box while his eyes are closed.
The parcel is not a box. It's a parcel wrapped in some kind of paper or something of the like. So it's not a box, but it is, I don't know, box shaped, brick shaped, wrapped in paper. You can set it down, circle around. The rod clearly pulsates with magic, but it is not drawn in any particular direction. You are a cocky magician or a sorcerer. You feel like with some time and study, you could figure out how to activate this, release the magical energy brimming within. But in the short, like in the immediate term, it doesn't do anything obvious. Can I have you roll a d4?
Yeah, I would love that. Natural 1.
Okay. It does. It you can feel the power while it's in your hand.
Well, Enrico will realize that with this rod, because this parcel's probably the amount of money that's being exchanged, this parcel might have some magic going on in it. We haven't opened it. We're not going to open it. We're trying to stay alive here. But that means that Enrico is so brimming with power that this rod could detect him. And this just, takes his already inflated ego and makes it swell even more. Yes, I am so great that this rod can find me. And then, realizing he's looking at this thing all giddy like, he'll try and cover his face. He'll make a quick charisma check to see if he can, hide the expression that he's got going on. It doesn't work. And say, well, this might be of some interest for us later. And he'll tuck it in his shirt, down to where the shirt and the belt meet. And I'll hold on to this for later, and we can figure out what it is. Is everyone ready to continue to go? And Vire will stand and be like, I just bashed a man's head in. I need a moment. And Ignatius will look at the person. And Ignatius is the sort of guy who goes to executions for fun, like people do in this day and age. You watch someone get killed, and it's sort of like it's an event, and everyone goes, and you yell at the executioner to try and tell them what to do and whatnot. And Ignatius is totally fine with the concept of killing. He didn't land any blows on this guy, at least nothing of note. So he's not worried about it. But Vire, who is just a stonemason man, and he doesn't go to these executions, is having a little bit of trouble. And Ignatius will get to the edge and call Enrico forward and say, do we have to cross the water? Is there another way? And Enrico will shake his head and goes, I think this is the way. Come on, Vire, let's go. And call the Vire who will... who will... I don't think Vire has a spare cloak or anything. He will take this guy's headband off, his headdress.
He had a cloak as well.
He did? Great. Then he will carefully lay the cloak over the person's body, tucking arms and legs in and reposing arms across the chest. And then, pull out his 2 gallons of water and take a long chug from it and cork it and put it back.
Yeah. Did anyone take the knife or the coin purse?
Ignatius took the coin purse. I think the knife lies where it was thrown.
Okay.
I don't think anyone investigated it either.
Yeah. Can you see anything back here?
I saw an island momentarily over here when Enrico was walking through the water, but I don't see anything now. I see
over this direction.
I can't even see where that direction is.
When I ping, it doesn't take your vision over there?
If you shift ping, it'll... Oh, yeah, I can see something way over there because I've got vision from that character.
Right. I don't think it... So what there's torchlight back there. And now that you're taking a minute to survey the scene or whatever. So you can see whatever you can see. I wasn't sure if it was off where your screen was placed.
Yeah, I just hadn't zoomed out far enough to see it.
While we have a moment of calm.
Yeah,
people flickering torchlight from the back of the room.
There's a man over there, and when that man is pointed out, Vire will look up from the body and take his warhammer more firmly in hand, grit his teeth, and Enrico will call out.
Yeah, it's not far. He probably has actually been roused by the sounds of combat, and is now standing up, looking over in your direction. Quite nervous and concerned.
Ho there, traveler! We mean no worries! Calls out Enrico. He says after killing a man.
What's all the commotion? Who goes there?
Is the water shallow enough to walk to you? He says, ignoring the questions.
Come no closer.
You said come closer? Okay. And he will begin to walk. They will walk one step at a time as a group. Let me know if the water gets deeper.
It does. You may need to like doggy paddle. I don't know how comfortable you are with that.
No,
you could probably,
no. If it gets to waist deep, yeah, we're trying to stick to the wall.
If you stick to the wall, it will go to about waist deep.
Mm-hmm.
Make a dexterity check. Maybe make.
This is for the leader. Then Enrico will make a dex check. 13 is a fail.
You will slip and fall. Make a second dex check.
Oh, lantern. Uh-oh.
Oh God. Make a third dex check.
I don't know what this one's for. Oh,
I don't know either. Okay,
three fails in a row.
Slip and fall, and just you get soaking wet. Like the water was only waist deep, but it was like on a slope and a slippery rocks. I don't like know. You're not damaged, but all of your equipment is drenched. Did you think to pick the parcel up off the ground? I had assumed you did.
Yeah,
and it is now back in your pocket.
Yes,
maybe getting wet. Your lantern is wet.
Yes.
You get back up and you can keep slogging through, but everything is
Is
wet.
the lantern staying lit or is the lantern going out?
The lantern goes out.
Well, now we absolutely have to get to this person. And with, with one hand on the quarterstaff and one hand on the parcel, Enrico will try and move through the water as far as he can. And if he has to swim, he's not letting go of the parcel. If swimming is required, he must let go of the quarterstaff to do so.
Do you go straight to the guy or do you stay in the shallows?
Well, we can no longer see where anything is. I did see that there was like a landing somewhere over here. But
yeah, I was going to assume you can stumble straight to that landing if you would like to.
No. We need to be in the light. We can't just be hanging around in the darkness. And so Enrico will attempt that swim as well. Okay. He can't swim, so he will attempt to wade. Vire...
It's not that deep. You can like wade or doggy paddle.
Okay.
It's a terrifying 15-yard paddle as you constantly imagine, was that a crab on my foot? But you make it over here. The man is standing, brandishing a knife in your direction and saying, "Come no closer." Which
Vire will, put up a hand and like, hey, buddy, hey, look, sorry.
What are you doing? What are you doing here?
Our lantern went out of the water. Please, just give us a moment to dry off here.
He's holding a torch and looking at you suspiciously. Behind him, you see like stacks of barrels and crates.
Ignatius will, weapons still at his sides. Actually, he will check to make sure his weapons made the swim with him. Did Ignatius's saber and dagger make it?
Yeah, Ignatius. Okay. Everyone is fine. But,
hands up. Just taking one step forward. He'll say, "I am the Lord to be Ignatius, and I am here for my own purposes. I mean you no harm, good fellow. But I may ask if you know the way. I am looking for the sandstone door." With an eye carved in it, he says boldly, and Enrico gritting his teeth as these words get said.
He looks nervously to the crates behind him and then says, "Door? I know not which door, a door of which you speak."
Well, we have no need for the crates behind you. We care not for what you do here. We are simply searching for the door.
This seems to put him at ease a bit. Oh, well, you're not lawmen, or? And then he like holds the torchlight up to the party and looks them up and down, and seems to be putting a bit at ease. He kind of lowers his knife blade.
The young Lord Ignatius from across the sea. We are not of this realm, and we have no business with the dealings here. We are looking for the sandstone door with the eye carved in it. Could you show us the way, sir? There's some.
You say.
Aye.
Yeah, my buddy said he saw a door once south of here, and he points that direction. Can you see my arrows?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Ignatius will look off into the darkness and then look back.
Can't be far, 100 yards through the caverns, but way spooky.
Spooky?
Wouldn't go.
What, do you
if I
believe
were
in
you.
ghosts? Nonsense. Now, my man's torch went out.
They say.
Can we borrow some of your fire, please? And with
Sure
that,
thing. Let me see that lantern.
yeah, Enrico will
These
step
caves
forward
are
and try.
haunted, you know. He will step forward and help you fix your torch. He seems fairly handy, and he, I don't know, torches your lantern for a minute and gets it relit after about 2 minutes.
Splendid, jolly good, sir. Now, haunted caverns. What is the most haunted thing that you've seen thus far?
Like I said, I ain't been that way myself. My my shipmate said there's a I don't know, magic forest or summit, and a ghost ship yonder way, and he gestures in the same way as he told you that
southern direction.
Yeah,
a ghost ship inside a cave. Certainly possible, certainly plausible. Enrico, what do you know of this ghost ship? And Enrico will, I think we've determined he doesn't know shit about ship.
I don't think there's any reason for you to know any of these things, but I guess you can roll a d20, and if you get a 20,
hey, you never know. All right. No,
that's pretty good. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason for you to have known anything about these caves.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Well then, can I get some light on my dude?
Oh yeah, let me relight your lantern.
Understanding that this guy's kind of nervous about his wares, even the young lord gets the understanding of conversation. When someone's got a nervousness about something, you leave it be. And so they will thank the man for lighting the torch and the directions.
You won't tell anyone you saw me down here, or that I let you leave alive, will you?
Not a living soul, sir.
Appreciate it.
Maybe the dead. And then the party will attempt to wade across here.
You can wade across, maybe ankle deep.
Perfect.
And get to that landing. A little wet, but yeah.
Right. Ignatius is, emboldened by these happenings. Everything is going well. They fought and killed a crab. There is like a murderer. In his mind, that Gimp guy was a murderer that they've dealt with. And so they start to move forward, but then there's something at the end of the hallway that they begin to see.
Yeah.
Something
down the hallway, you see perhaps an eerie light. But
yes, an eerie light indeed. The party, well, we're going to get Vire in a place where he can observe, and the party's going to go quiet, and Vire is going to make a perception check. 1d20 plus 16, Vire perception.
Ooh.
27.
There's nothing obviously threatening, but as I said, you can see in the path ahead, there's an eerie blue-green light shed in the area. And shifting shadows that obstruct the vision. I think from this distance and behind the rest of the party, he can't really tell what it is from here. He's relatively sure within his area of competence that you're not being pursued. The area is safe and secure. You need to get closer to.
What does he hear, though? What do the ears tell him?
aside from the standard dampness of the caves, I don't think
He hears the
I don't think you.
dampness.
Yeah, I mean, there's sloshing of water behind you.
Got it. Okay. Well, we will
Sounds like it's echoing all around.
press forward.
Yeah, you step forward. As like you step past the threshold, and there's a plant. Looks like a strand of kelp or seaweed that rises off of the floor as you walk past it, wafts up to the ceiling. I mean, there's more forward obscuring light. Yeah, they are shifting about as if they are a kelp forest underwater. But I mean, clearly you're in air.
Yeah, so I guess we'll probably stop at this point, and Enrico will once again ask Ignatius for the dagger. And
is this? Do we want to do a final break now?
Yeah.
Later, how long have we been running? I mean, we can keep going.
I don't have anything for 2 hours ish from now, so I can keep going as long as you want. But if you want to break here, this is a great break spot.
I don't.
'Cause I'm about to do something stupid. Oh, but if you if you don't want to break, let's do it then.
No, we can power through. I
we'll
just wasn't
take the
sure
dagger.
If we wanted to get hourly breaks, or if we just power through.
Let's just power through for now, at least until the end of this room. Enrico Fermi will take the dagger from Ignatius and lean down to the bottom of one of these kelp strands. Does it touch the floor, or does it like hang above the floor?
It is like attached to the floor. There's like a bundle of spindles or whatever. Oh,
so it's actually coming out of the floor.
Yeah.
He will cut one of the kelps. And he will, with a gloved hand. Okay, so lantern on the ground, quarterstaff on the ground, dagger in one hand and glove, other hand is gloved, and he will grab the kelp. Maybe he'll be on one knee and 1 foot, grab the kelp maybe 2 feet off the ground, and then sever the kelp or try to cut through the kelp below his hand while gripping strongly enough to see if he like floats up, but also sort of expecting to float up. And if there is any sort of floating action, the idea is to let go immediately.
You sever the kelp. It takes a little bit of sawing. This dagger is quite dull by now. You used it to dig into the stone. You were able to sever a strand, and it falls limp from the ceiling.
It falls from the ceiling.
It wasn't attached to the ceiling, but it was floating. Once you sever it, it kind of like stops floating.
Oh, how fantastic. Does the strand below the cut mark continue to float?
No, it kind of flops down.
So once cut, the whole thing just goes limp.
Yeah, it's not like instantly as soon as you cut it, it reacts. There's like a gradual transition or something. But,
maybe it's filled with some sort of lighter than air gas, muses Enrico.
Yeah. Maybe as you're puzzling this out, echoing through the chamber, you hear cackling laughter, a giggle, if you will.
Enrico will get to his feet and hand the dagger
otherworldly.
Vire will step forward.
What are you doing? You hear sort of from your left, maybe. You don't see anything.
Ignatius from the back of the party, now a little bit concerned, standing behind Enrico. Excuse me, my lady. Who are you here? Well, I am to be the Lord Ignatius. We're just passing through. Only ladies cackle. No man has ever cackled in all of lore or stories.
Yeah. Roll a perception check. You can roll the highest for the party if you want.
23.
Yeah. There's a billow of smoke from this direction. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Just a gust sort of along the floor wafting up.
Do you know the way to the sandstone door? And Enrico will start like waving it off, like don't say that shit. And
sandstone door.
Vire will grab his.
The voice is kind of shifting. Sounds like it's coming from behind you. Vile looks over there. There's clearly no source to the sound, so it must be a trick of magic or of echoes. Would you? I can show you the way.
No, thank you. Just point the way. We'll be on our own. We need not any assistance on our journey. Just directions.
A show or a point? It's all the same to me. But first, you must play a game.
Everyone is off put by this, even ignorant Ignatius. Right, Hal, what sort of game would you like to play?
I will tell you a riddle.
Yes.
And if you lose, you owe me a riddle in return.
Oh, yes, we can do that, he says confidently.
There's another waft of smoke in this area. It dissipates. It doesn't actually stick around. I'm not sure if I can delete it though without deleting.
Oh, no! There goes his Fermi. Okay.
Okay, I can't delete the doodles, but we're fine.
I patiently await.
Yeah. What do you bury only while it's live, and dig up only once dead?
The party leans into a huddle to discuss the options, and Ignatius goes, I think it's a seed, and maybe a seed for a tuber. And Vire will shake his head and goes, no, the tubers are still alive when you dig them up.
Wrong! It shouts. Wrong!
Wait, we hadn't answered! What was the answer?
It's a plant.
That's what I was saying!
Oh.
I said seed! Tuber! Those are plants!
He said, she said. I'm not a lady, you know. Very well, we will have a tiebreaker. Another game. Another riddle.
They wait patiently.
What grows when it is fed, yet shrinks when it drinks? There's another puff of smoke.
Hold on, I can get this one. What grows when it is fed and shrinks when it drinks? Drinks when it drinks. Drinks when it drinks. A plant! Calls out Ignatius.
Wrong! There is a burst of smoke, a projectile, if you will, that flies at Ignatius.
Oh my god.
Dealing 4 points of damage.
Ignatius dies.
It really does.
He had 3 HP.
I liked Ignatius. Perched in this general area is a small humanoid impish creature, greenish, pipe in hand. And I guess he inadvertently kills Ignatius.
Enrico goes, "You fool! It's a fire!" And Vire will immediately hop to his side to like see if there's something that can be done. You know, maybe the wounds can be bound. Maybe the young lad isn't at his end yet, and he will attempt to staunch any sort of wounds while Enrico will just look upon this creature with curiosity.
I think the creature is casually floating there. I'm about 5 feet off the ground. He looks like he's sitting, but he's not sitting on anything. He's got a pipe in one hand. He looks very casual.
Mm-hmm.
Either he's like a total psychopath, or he didn't mean to kill Ignatius with that. Roll an intelligence check, a medicine check, something.
Yeah, that's the same for Vire on both of them. He will roll 1d20 plus 11, 29. He knows if the lad can be saved or if he's gone.
He could, yeah. I mean, you don't really need to. You like pat out any smoldering whatever's. He's not dead, but he's like badly burned. His pulse is faint. He needs medical attention if he's going to make it out of this.
Vire gets to his
stable.
feet.
The creature says to Enrico, "You smell spicy. I'd like to. Ordinarily, I'd rob you blind, but you got my riddle, so you're free to go."
Vire speaks up. I ain't free. You ain't free to go, though. You hurt the poor lord. You know what's gonna happen to me if he doesn't make it back from this journey. You need to fix him, and you need to fix him right now, or you're gonna have a hard time.
He raises an eyebrow, looks down at him. Nothing I can do.
He steps forward. He gets in the floating creature's grill. Listen here, you little shit.
He blows a thick smoke just right in Vile's face.
Enrico will put a hand on his shoulder and be like, No. This thing is more dangerous than you might imagine. Don't antagonize it. Vire looks over to Enrico and goes, I've got to. Look, Ignatius, he's fucking dying. I gotta get him out of here. We gotta get back to the boat. We gotta abandon this quest. And Enrico shakes his head. It's like, what, are you kidding? We can't abandon. We're so close. Come on, we have to get to the end. And Vire's like, what are you talking about? Who gives a shit about this goddamn package? We've got to get out of here with the young man in tow. And Enrico will look to the creature before him and goes, hello, friend. If you could do something, if you could swear an oath to the gods to take care of the young man while we continue our journey, I would be happy to bestow upon you a gift of gold.
Sure. I'll take care of it.
Vire is not buying this shit. Are you just gonna try? He fucking killed him. How are we supposed to get out of here? How are you supposed to trust it?
He wafts over to what's his name's corpse?
Ignatius. Yeah.
Ignatius's corpse.
And Enrico will take 11 gold off of Ignatius's body and hand it over to the Kelpie. I'm gonna call it because it's surrounded by kelp.
He's surrounded by kelp. Aren't kelpies horses or something, or sexy ladies?
I think so. There's some sort of Irish.
He's not a lady, so he can't be a kelp.
I think kelpie are one of the many Irish. You think it's a sexy lady, but really it's a monster who's gonna kill you things. It's a whole bunch of them in Irish folklore.
Yeah.
Yep. But we'll pay him off with the gold and turn to Enrico. Enrico will turn to Vire and say, listen here, Vire. You and I know that he was never involved, never leading this journey. There's a huge reward at the end of all this. And if you can help me get to the end, you can get out of the servitude of this stupid family. We can both make out like bandits, and we can move on. And he pulls out that rod from his shirt. Do you know how much this rod is worth in and of itself?
Ooh.
Probably more than I would have been paid for this entire journey. Come now. We can move on with the world. And the Lord will look at this creature. It's curious. It's fascinated. He's interested in riddles. He's not here to kill us. If he wanted to kill us, we'd already be dead. If he says that we can trust him, he shrugs. I'm sure we can trust him. Besides, do you want to be a stonemason the rest of your life? Vire will 1d20 plus 11.
Here Neal said that he didn't want to talk to himself.
Not too much, just a little bit. Well, the prospects of living outside of peasantry. And he's sort of a skilled craftsman, but he's on the lower end of the skilled craftsman. He's an apprentice stonemason. So the bait is too good. And he looks to the green man, the green creature. I come back, and Ignatius is dead, or something terrible's happened to him. I'm gonna hold you responsible. And he pulls out his...
is like sitting next to. He's got Ignatius's arm around over his shoulder. The little green creature, who's, I don't know, like, I guess he's not. He's small, but he's the size of like an adolescent human. He's I guess it's medium size, but it's smaller than a man. He's like cozied up next to Ignatius with Ignatius's arm around his shoulder, and they're kind of lounging. He's like pretending to like pass the pipe to the unconscious guy.
If you do something to this kid,
I got it. He'll be fine.
There's something oddly trusting about the person who's playing games with like the corpse, you know.
The door you seek's nigh 100 paces, and he points the direction you're heading.
All right.
Second passage to the left. Down the stairs or up the stairs, doesn't really matter. You have an appointment, don't you? You'll be fine. He blows out a big puff of smoke.
All right. Well, the two of them will head forward.
This whole chamber is filled with the floating seaweed, wafting weeds, and iridescent glow. But there is a chamber off to your right.
Yeah, we're not gonna do it. We're gonna leave the guy's stuff there. If there's stuff there, we'll head down to this point. We'll just take a quick peek around the corner, expecting it just to be a dead end.
It sort of narrows and dead ends. It looks, I mean, it's a natural. You click through the wall.
Whoops.
See the secret room behind it. No, you're fine. It narrows to the point where you can't go further without squeezing. Looks like that rat's nest you saw before. There's not a rat's nest at the end of this one, but the same kind of thing. Where like,
but there's
if you
light.
want to investigate, you can cram your head in. There is light there.
Light.
And that's this is water. If you can't quite tell.
Is the water line right here?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we will approach. Ooh, but there is a staircase.
Path off to your right, and off to your left, and a staircase, and then before you is a chamber with water opening up.
Okay. Well, I think at the intersection between these two is a time for a break.
Sure.
And we'll be back on the other side with some more Dicing with Death. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dicing with Death.
Hello. Two paths diverge in a dungeon.
These stairs lead up or down?
They lead up.
Well, we're gonna come to the water just to see what's going on over here.
Yeah. Before you, it's kind of hard to see, but there is stern of a ship protruding from the water, and a mast.
Yep.
The room is dimly illuminated, and there are a few craggy rocks in this small pool of water.
Out of curiosity,
Enrico roll a perception check. Sorry, what does Enrico do out of curiosity?
So while Vire is looking around, Enrico will take out his rod and gently tap it into the water and begin to stir the water around a little bit with it. The magic rod.
Yeah, nothing. The rod doesn't do anything. Vile notes that the water, he occasionally sees ripples in the water, like bubbles in the water that are like irregular. As in, like, it's, yeah. He's got the sinking suspicion that there's something in there.
Hey, buddy. I think there's something in the water. Didn't you say something about a staircase? Maybe we should just, look, there's a staircase right here. And Enrico going to try to resist the allure of magic, and he will do so. Okay. Ghost ships are probably a terrifying thing. Let's head to the stairs. Together, they will head to the stairs, and Vire will be ever so grateful.
Yeah. You can just stop there. I mean, the staircase goes up, I don't know, it's 20 feet. It's about 2 stories or so, and ends in a stone wall with carvings, rectangular carving in it, and the shape of an eye somewhere in the middle.
Stand back, Vire. Watch our backs. Vire will turn around. Enrico will look at the door carefully. He'll kind of smell the air around it. He'll do all his normal sight, sound, smell, do all the senses interaction.
Roll a d10.
7.
Okay. You're totally expecting when the stone carving of an eye like blinks open, revealing a startlingly moist and realistic looking eye about the size of a dinner plate. Like large. Open and look at you, look around, look straight at you, into your soul for a second. And then close and turn back to stone. And if you don't do anything within a minute, the edges of the doorway sort of like illuminate and trace, and it transforms into an oaken door.
Well, that's not exactly what we were expecting, but it will do. Thinks Enrico to himself. He will produce the package from underneath his arm, and we'll produce the package in one hand, and sort of keep the other hand sort of behind our back with the rod in the other hand. And then before the door opens, hopefully switch it so that the rod is in the primary hand, whatever that happens to be. We can roll a handedness check right now. Rod's in the right hand, the package is in the left hand, and wait for the door to open while Vire is a few steps down and back with his back turned so he can't see what's going on.
The door does not immediately open, but it is turned into a regular door with a knob, with a knob or something. So,
glad that nothing's changed. Vire will go up and sniff the door and run his tongue along it to see if, like, the texture, does it feel like a wood grain texture when he uses something as sensitive as a tongue?
Is this Vile or is this
Enrico?
Enrico. He's a proper magician, not afraid to lick things. It feels like a real door.
He's a chemist at heart, Gotta lick all the chemistry. That feels like real wood, huh? Can you tell what sort of wood it is? You said oaken. Does it taste like oak?
It tastes like oak. Neither Enrique nor myself know enough about wood to distinguish, but I described it as oak for a little more flavor, so taste the flavor.
Yes, it must taste like whiskey. Those are aged in oak barrels. That makes sense. Yes. And then using his foot, he will tap the door. Tap, tap, tap. Still.
How long would... Yeah, no response. How long would you say you spend investigating the door before entering?
Good 30 seconds. No more than that.
Okay.
But if the tap, tap, tap doesn't do anything, then, both hands out, package and rod in right hand, package and rod in left hand, and then reach for the doorknob with the gloved hand and give it a turn.
It is like a lever thing you push on the handle, but you push.
Yeah, sure. Lever.
It is unlocked, and you may open it.
Come on, Vire, says. The two of them will proceed forward.
Yeah. You ascend to the next dungeon level. Just kidding. You open the door, and before you, it's the candlelit foyer. Appears to be a comfortable room. There's a rug on the floor, a plushy divan on one side, a small oak shelf with a few books on it, and a little table with several tables with candles going. On the far side of the room is another door. Do you step into this room?
Vire looks in, kind of surprised. Enrico looks in, concerned. But it opened. That's an invitation, and so cross the threshold they will. Vire will keep his hammer on hand, leaving it in his hand as he walks around, but not up or anything, just dangling at his side. Enrico will tuck the package underneath his arm and keep out and tuck the rod back into his shirt and belt and walk with his quarterstaff. And without going to the other door first, sort of glance around the things, and both of them are going to make perception checks, or one of them, however you want to do it, to see what's going on.
Take a minute to explore the room.
23 for the bodyguard, and 18 for the sorcerer.
Okay. The room is sparse. There's nothing hidden or untoward that Vire spots. There's no real hiding spots. It feels safe, if a bit strangely located. I don't know what distracts Enrico while the round ticks by. Why doesn't he pass perception check?
You had described something. I was looking up the definition of divan while you were describing things, and so I sort of missed.
It's like a lounging couch. It's a couch.
Yeah, but you described something right after that.
A shelf. There's a few books on it.
I think
you saw the book. You were like, books.
Yeah.
And, I don't
he's
even
paging.
think you hesitate, drooling over the books. You don't even have time to read them before the door on the other end of the room opens. And stepping in, would you like to roll for initiative? I'm just kidding. You don't have. Is a wizened old man, in a set of normal robes. He's bald with a long beard, several feet in length, coming to a point. In his left hand, he carries a heavy pouch. And he steps into the room, looks around, and says, "Do you have my package?"
Vire looks to Enrico. Enrico nods and produces the package from underneath his arm, holding it in his left hand while he walks with his quarterstaff with the right. And he says, "Do you have my gold?"
He's got how many hands does he have? He's got a quarterstaff. He's got a rod.
Quarterstaff in the right. No, the rod's in the shirt. It's tucked in the belt and shirt. Yeah.
The package left, it feels better in your hand.
I bet it does, but I can't let this guy see that I have this thing.
Okay, it's not like it's not like it's cursed drawing you to wield it, but you can tell that its power is only apparent when you're holding it. When you tuck it away,
Yeah, well, I just can't let the old man see that I've got this thing. He's gonna want it.
Sure.
Do you have my bag?
He raises an eyebrow. You have the parcel, obviously, visible. He
Visible,
sticks
yeah.
out a hand. He sticks out a hand to take it. He clearly has a large sack. I don't know how much hundreds of gold coins looks like in a sack, but it's probably bulging, right?
Yes. Well, that's the word I'm looking for, is the bulge in his
he
sack.
has a
And I will hand over my package in exchange for his sack.
It's all wet, he says. Does travel across the sea?
You picked a damp location. What did you expect?
He will take it, hand you the bag. Would you like to determine how much is in it now, or should we do that?
No. We're not going to stop and count the money in front of this guy. That we're not. We're cool. We're not dumb.
Okay. He hands you the money pouch. And takes his parcel. At this point, he stops to look at the two of you. Are either of you severely wounded?
No.
Taken like only 1 point of damage?
Enrico took 1 point, and Ignatius is dead, but no.
I don't even know if that's obvious to me. Okay.
Is it as you...
Well,
is it to your satisfaction? Says Enrico.
It's fine. It is fine. He, yeah. He's making eye contact, and is there anything else? He says.
Your word master got in the way.
Word master? He pauses on his way to the door.
The green diminutive man in the room with flying kelp.
Oh, that imp? It wasn't too much trouble, I hope.
There's a shrug. He killed one of my men.
Mephits. They're damn pests. Once there's one, there's a half dozen.
And he kind of... Enrico looks back over at Vire and kind of gives him like a hold on with his free hand. And he'll step a little bit closer to the old man. May I ask you some... And he lowers his voice. Can I ask a favor of you?
He pauses long enough for you to ask it. But...
I'll scoot close enough so I can ask in a whisper so that Vire can't hear me. The man with me right here is very cross about the Mephit. If the lad with the Mephit doesn't survive, he may attempt to bring down a whole house upon you here.
He looks around. There was another in your party?
If we could see to the young...
Does he still breathe?
Air flows through his lungs for now. If he can be made to survive, all will be fine. But
you can see like his eyes are darting. He's like, what's your intelligence?
16.
Oh, so you're a smart guy. He's calculating and scheming. You can just like you can see it. His eyes are like not looking at you. They're moving quickly and yeah. Like,
if the young man is not to make it, you should probably do something about the man behind me before he complicates things for us.
He shakes his head. Your companion is of his character. Is he willing to make the appropriate bargains?
He is tempted, but he's not tempered.
There's a smile creeps up the corners of his mouth. Bring him here.
Vire, could you help me with something? Vire will walk across the room. Do you need something, Enrico, or can we get the hell out of here? Get in the wheelies.
The wizard turns to Vire and says, bring me your companion. Let us see to his wounds.
By the gods, I was worried about him. And Vire will take the lantern from Enrico, and flee back to go get the the kid. And then, if possible, with his
have Vire roll a
14
perception
strength.
check.
Yeah. You said perception check?
Vire, yeah.
Okay, so that's actually 2 higher than that. That's a 34.
He will spot something disturbing in the shadows.
How disturbing.
Actually quite horrifying.
How horrifying.
It looks like a naked man, naked simian, just a fleshy starfish at the edge of his vision. Man-sized.
Wait, is it a simian or a starfish? what
all of the above. All of the above.
A naked simianic starfish.
Yeah, so it's probably, I mean, like, he's headed this way, and it's like over here in illuminated by the light of the ghost ship. It'd be easy enough to just keep walking and pretend he never saw this.
Yeah, that's definitely the plan.
Maybe it was the method smoke playing tricks with his head and like causing him to question his sexuality.
Did you say it was over here? I couldn't see it at the moment.
No, sorry, over here in the like.
Okay, it was down here. Yeah. Well, as long as it's not the direction he's gonna go, he's gonna just turn his back and hurry off this way.
I can share my doodle with you if you want to see it.
If you want to show your doodle, show me your doodle.
But I mean, where'd you go? Come back. Come back and see my doodle, Neal.
Where's your starfish simian? Hold on, let me zoom in real close. Oh yeah.
Yeah. He eyes you down the hallway.
Oh, that's
licks
so
his
good.
teeth. But I think Vire doesn't have the
Vire does not have the desire to go take a look at this thing any closer.
He chalks it up to a trick of the imagination, lets it watch him from the shadows, and continues on with his walk. He will return to much the same scene. There's actually a third figure with them now. It is like a disembodied humanoid light hanging out with them.
Vire shakes his head.
They're all sitting around, passing the pipe.
I gotta get the fuck out of here. This is gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. I gotta get out of here.
And you can, the method will hand off the corpse and
push his feet near his butt, grab him by the hands, lift him up in fireman's carry, and throw him over his shoulder, and then, lantern in tow, and with his 14 strength, try to make his way back.
Yeah, the only random encounter was the flesh fish, but
we're not looking at the flesh fish. We are intentionally not looking in that direction.
This probably takes 5 minutes. What do our sorcerers get up to in this time?
Well, now that the Vire is gone, Enrico will simply say, I'm a big fan of your atrium. It's very nice. I hope that we can work together in the future.
Do you mean the study or the caves?
Oh, this room right here. It's very nice. Yes. The rest of the caves are a little bit well, I'm used to the moisture. It's a little bit dark for my taste. My eyes have not yet adjusted.
It takes years. He says.
I do hope that if you need any more such deliveries, you will come to me. I long to learn by osmosis.
He nods. Perhaps one of my apprentices has the time to work with you. He will actually excuse himself to prepare a potion for what's his name?
Ignatius.
Ignatius. Yeah, I think you, unless you press any issues or anything, he will excuse himself, come back around the same time as Vire returns with Ignatius, places him on the couch, and the wizard will return with a small, squat bottle of a crimson red liquid.
Must be a healing potion. And, how does he administer this liquid?
This is a good question.
Well, if Ignatius gets back to his feet, we can happily leave with no worries. Yeah?
Can you administer a potion to an unconscious person?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think what has to happen is we bring out the chemistry equipment and vaporize said healing potion.
I see. And then have them inhale the fumes?
The question is, does this happen? I don't think this happens. I think, can Vire be persuaded to let the wizard take Ignatius for some time? What if there are snacks? What if he brings out like cheese and crackers?
He won't leave the boy.
Maybe a nice beer.
No, I mean, well, he left him with the other guy. Let's see.
I think he casually says that he needs to wait here.
Sure, this guy looks pretty legit. He's an old man. He's the most human-looking thing he's seen in here.
He says, "Oh, he's unconscious. We can't just give him the potion. I've got to take, Well, this could take a little time.
He'll take some cheese.
Comfortable. I'll bring an apprentice. Will come down. A white-robed man. He seems so young and wholesome. He's got a tray of cheese and crackers. Asks if you need anything else, and then they whisk Ignatius away to the laboratory where they vaporize healing potions and force it up his nose.
Lovely.
Makes dark deeds, but he will recover his constitution. I think to Ignatius, this is all a fever dream. He witnesses horrors more awesome and terrifying than any of the dungeon delvers saw. An infinitude of galaxies, planes beyond his imagination, tentacles, and deals are made, pacts are sealed, but his life is returned to him. This probably takes a good deal of time, but
after Vire eats his fill, he'll pace the room in concern and worry, like a father waiting outside the bedroom while his wife gives birth, and just sort of, is it gonna be okay? Is it gonna be okay? Pacing.
Yeah. The book selection, there's only 3 books. Enrico probably gets impatient with one of them. Is a book of riddles. Another is a book of weird tales, and another is the book of botany. With full color illustrations.
The botany book catches his eye. Yeah.
So he's probably able to entertain himself for however many hours it takes to resuscitate an unconscious PC.
Excellent. Well then,
and we will be sent on our way.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, good. You're back, Ignatius. We had worried about you. Did you have a good sleep? Ignatius will be kind of fuzzy-headed about the whole thing. Bad dreams. Where am I? Oh, never mind that. We've completed the quest. You'll be right as rain. Come now. And Ignatius will ask some questions on the way out, but I think
Yeah.
as long as there's no more encounters.
I feel like we don't need to dungeon crawl our way out. Let's determine how much gold is in the pouch.
Yes.
We never discussed what was agreed upon.
You said obscene amounts of gold.
Yeah. But it is what was agreed upon. Let's roll. You want to roll it?
Yeah.
So you can't blame me.
Yeah.
Let's roll 5d4. Sorry, hold on. 64 plus 2d6 plus 1 times 10. So 64
250.
64 plus 2d6 plus 1. Yeah, 250 gold.
That's a pretty good roll.
Yeah.
That 64 came out really good.
This was handed to Enrico.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how you'll divide it amongst your party. But,
Enrico doesn't give anything to anyone because Ignatius was here for the adventure. Vire is here to guard Ignatius, and while there was promises of gold, that was like if the kid doesn't make it. And Vire, he knows better than to talk up to the nobles, and so maybe when they get back to Solstice, not Solstice, what's the other place called? Oh my god, I'm blanking on its name. The place with the rivers and the docks and the jungles. We've only played there. Sinteron, yes, we've only played there 1,000 years. When we get back to Sinteron, Vire might look at Enrico and be like, how about that money? And Enrico will offer to send him a nice gift.
Okay. Alrighty. So I think we're done with this adventure. Or with this quest. What would you call it? The session?
Yeah.
Session.
But does Enrico level? Does Ignatius and Vire level?
I would say these can all be level 1 characters.
Excellent.
I hadn't decided how I wanted to deal with the constitution damage. So my first thought is that it's permanent. As in Enrico is now at 11 out of 12 constitution because of the wounds he sustained.
Mm-hmm.
This could be healed via divine means. Ignacio made some dark deals to have his constitution restored.
Mm-hmm.
Enrico's were so minor that they weren't even noticed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I hadn't really thought about the balance of that, but that was my first thought, is that you're taking damage to your constitution and it doesn't necessarily heal.
In the 0th level era, whatever damage you take is permanent. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
And even beyond that, I think it would be this was an idea for dealing with negative, instead of negative HP, once you lose your HP, you start taking constitution damage, which is permanent.
Ooh. The idea that when you go below max HP, any other damage is taken from your max HP is actually really cool.
Oh yeah. And and then the max that you could take on top of it is equal to your constitution score.
I do like either taking damage from max HP when you go below 0, or you can go to your negative con score. I like both of those as solutions to not dying immediately problems.
Yeah. We started for Halvar, we did stuff ish like this. I had every time he died, he lost 1 point of constitution.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, just ideas. We can play with them as yeah.
Well, to get to your prestige class stuff, does that mean Enrico becomes a level 1 arcanist?
That could work. That seems
I see a couple
seems
other
like an option. That's more
There's like a witch and a
that's
shaman.
more or less what we could. I mean, that would be a next session.
Gotcha.
But that's the that rod is a phylactery or whatever. It's basically it's a rod holding a spell in it.
I thought it was like a rod of absorption. Okay.
No, that's a feature of the Arcanist class that I had. So he absorbed a spell level. The D4 I had you roll was to determine what the benefit of it is. So while you're holding it, it'll give you +1 AC.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could release the spell.
Okay, so the rod is +1 AC. And if you release the spell, you lose the +1 AC?
Yes.
Okay, but if I absorb like 4 spells, I could get either +4 AC or some combo?
I think each object can only hold 1 spell.
Okay.
So it's only a +1. Yeah. And I think you can only hold 1 thing per phylactery. You could have a higher level spell, or like you could capture an elemental or something. I think it's limited to +1. I mean, because a stacked up Arcanist would have like every slot would be some 1000 GP relic with a spell slot in it.
Right. Okay.
So you don't want to have like 10 slots each with +4. Like 10 slots with +1 each is already getting pretty OP.
Yeah, I could see maybe different pieces of gear requiring different spells to charge. Like, maybe the thing you hold in your hand is easier to empower, and so you can absorb anything. But the stuff that you wear on your feet or the thing that you wear on your head needs a level blah, blah, blah spell. And that way it's...
Yeah, I have it written. The value has to be 1000 GP per spell level and ritualistically prepared for the specific purpose. So examples: rods, staves, wands, amulets, rings, soul gems, voodoo dolls, magic lamps. Most of those need to be held in your hand. I think if you want to like make a bracer that stores spell slots, it's going to be an expensive artifact, requiring questing and much preparation.
Cool.
So leveling Enrico as an Arcanist is certainly an option. I think other classes would be adventures in and of themselves. Sorcerers, I hadn't even really fleshed out. The only mechanic there was the sorcery die, which is like, so like at level 0, you didn't even try to cast any spells. Your level 1 spell literally was Lantern.
Yeah, well, you said my level 1 spell was Lantern, and then, we went through it. I thought the implication was that there was no spell to cast.
I mean, I would have been open to you being like if there had been a battle and you were like, I reach deep into my nether regions and pull out a spell and try to vanquish the crab man, I think I would have let you take damage to cast a spell.
Got it. That was not entirely clear to me.
Well, yeah.
But here we are.
So going from, the only mechanic I have is going from level 0 to level 1. Your spell point, instead of just being 1, would be a 1d2. And then when you cast a spell, you would roll a d2. If it's a 2, then the spell goes off and you reduce your die size from a d2 to a 1, which would recover on a rest. And if you ever roll a 1, then you like take damage, if that makes sense.
So if I am a level 5 spellcaster, I roll a d6, and then if it's a
2 through if it's a 3 through 6, the spell goes off, you keep your d6 spell die. And you can just keep casting. If you ever roll a 1 or a 2, the die size reduces. Increasing your chance of blowback. And if you ever roll a 1, you take damage from like overdrawing your magical energy.
And those numbers are independent of the spell level.
I think so. Except for the damage you take scales with spell level.
Yeah. Okay. I dig it. And then, so essentially when you're like level 5, you have unlimited spells as long as you roll 3s or better.
Yeah.
And then, you could
exhaust
yourself.
There's always a 1 in whatever chance that you take damage. And then there's always a 2 in whatever chance that you reduce your die, like reducing your MP pool. It's basically an MP pool, but it's randomized. Like sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't reduce.
Yeah, you have like you could figure out the mechanical average number of spells you could cast, but there's some... This is kind of nice because you could say, in this condition, your failure point is a 1, 2, or 3. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, so I'm down to do Enrico as, if you want to come up with some sort of sorcerer rules, I would do that, but we haven't played with the Arcanist yet,
the
so I
core
would
of
do
it
that.
there.
Yeah.
You could I mean, they're almost sorcery. You could use any spells with this sorcery system. It's just instead of memorizing spells, you've got
Right.
this weird MP system.
Okay, well,
An Arcanist doesn't get, and there wouldn't have spell. It's basically a roguish class, but you're stealing spells and
yeah, I think that works
random
pretty
abilities.
well. Enrico hadn't really turned out to be anything, but here he is in dungeons, leading people, trying to stab his allies in the back if it benefits him. So I think him as a roguish spellcaster works really well. Ignatius and Vire.
In
Assassin.
theory, they could also just take other, become a fighter and be boring, or retire.
Well,
and it's the trouble with these. Everyone survived, so who knows? But these were kind of meant to be solo-ish classes, as in they're very complicated,
right?
And they're buffed to the point where you can almost take them solo.
Well, I'm happy to run Enrico as the leveled character and leave Vire as maybe a henchman. Like maybe if we do this again, Ignatius doesn't come along and Vire is the hired sword that helps him out for a little while until he inevitably dies, or gets retired, and then just keep Enrico as our leveled character.
Yeah, we don't need to decide now. We're obviously done with this session, and it'll probably be a while before we get to play again.
6 more months.
What's in 6 months?
Well, it's a while.
Oh, is that our average? We played in January.
Yeah, it's been a while, so we'll see. Cool.
Anything else we want to say about about anything?
What is today? Today's a Thursday. No, there's nothing else to say.
Cool. I had Twitch on my phone, but I don't know if it hasn't loaded or we're just not getting a lot of chat engagement.
Little bit of column A, little bit of column B. There's been stuff all along.
Okay. Well, thanks for watching.
Yeah. Thanks for coming around, everybody. And it's been a hot minute. Hopefully we can do this more than every 6 months or every 3 months.
It's busy life. Well, I'm not making any promises. I potentially one in a couple months, and then maybe a couple months after that. That's my life now.
One game every
thanks
few
for
months
watching.
Legit. Yeah.
Koib's got some stuff going on, right? You got a critical feedback tomorrow, right?
Critical feedback tomorrow. Probably some more of our map making. We're finishing up the original version of Arcadia before the world was broken into bits and pieces. And we've got some more planning for the Lazarus expedition. And even though I can't share it or show it during the planning phases, the successor to Fatal One is underway. We've got some fun ideas for that. So
are we still, haven't there been more? There was
Deadly Dungeon
Nick
that
ran
Nick made.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're still on Too Fatal, Too Furious.
Too Fatal, Too Deadly. Yeah.
Too Fatal, Too Deadly. Okay, so you got to get through that before I can push my Fatal 3 Fatality.
Fatal 3 Fatalities, is that?
I think I made that joke ages ago.
Yeah, but it's pretty good. But isn't the third one, is it
Fatal,
Tokyo Drift?
I.
Fatali. Oh, I see. Fatal.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know.
I was just gonna call it Dungeon Drift or something, since if we're just gonna rip off the
Dungeon Drift.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. We're out. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.